edition of the Carton Show. Great to have you here on this President's Day. Cody Decker, of course, as always. And my main man, Victor Cruz. Good to have Victor here.
What up?
And we get you started right out of the gate with Monday morning headlines. And it was all about the NBA All-Star Game. Starting off right there, that's my main man, Mac McClung.
Your boy.
Household name right now. Some dude nobody ever heard of from the G League. No joke. Saving the dunk contest with some wicked dunks that really made him famous. That's how he first became known. He went viral for doing playground dunks, and now he did it on the main stage, Victor.
I mean, if you're a fan of social media, you've been seeing this guy for like 8 years.
Yeah,
right? Just
seems
high
like it.
school doing these dunks and really killing it. Seems like he hasn't grown in 8 years, too. He's been the same height for so long. But, I mean, he single-handedly brought this thing back with some really inspiring dunks, crazy, tapping the backboard, the double reverse pump. We haven't seen some of these dunks ever, to be honest.
And he did the 540, which has never been done at this level in a competition.
He's only 6'2" and change.
He looks like my IT guy.
Yeah. Anyhow, he did save the dunk contest, and really, to be honest, he saved the whole damn weekend.
Really
Absolutely.
did.
He really did.
He has gone viral. He'll probably be on the Sixers roster now, because why wouldn't you put him out there as the 12th man, sell some tickets,
what he can do.
and pregame, let him go out there, do a couple dunks, get the crowd all amped up, and good to go. So we got a lot more on McClung, who's hung, and we'll get to that a little bit later on in the program. Man, everybody needs a nickname, Vic. You know that.
That's a good one.
Everybody needs
Not
a
sure that's
nickname.
what he wanted this morning.
Listen, I got a shirt being made right now that says "Hung like McClung."
Really?
I'll have it on tomorrow's show.
Oh,
My
because he hangs on the rim.
Thank you.
I
Yes.
get it. I get it.
That makes sense.
I get it. Smart.
Took me a
Your
while.
second headline is the game itself. As Team Giannis last night beats Team LeBron 184-175. And let's just all agree right now, for those out there that want to yell and scream because it happens every year. That isn't basketball. You know, they're not even playing basketball. That doesn't look like a basketball game. Dude, this is what it is, man. It's not even street ball.
No.
It's playground dunkathon.
Yeah.
Is what it is, and I love it.
I'm not mad at it one single bit. Shoot from the rafters. I want Dame Lillard to go in the third row and shoot a three.
He did
And
at
he
one
did
point.
at some point. But this is what it's all about. I mean, it's more about just showing these elite level talents that just do things that none of us can do, like Kyrie Irving spinning the ball 3 different ways off the backboard, the English that he creates with either hand. I mean, it's just elite level stuff.
There's one.
Tatum wound up getting the MVP. He set a All-Star game record. He had 55. 3 other guys hit over 30. And again, if you're looking for a real basketball game, then the All-Star game ain't for you.
Nope.
This is about guys taking shots that otherwise their coach would bench them for, and they make them. It's almost globetrottery.
A little bit.
But I love it, and I know it's almost like the old guy in the lawn yelling and screaming, "Get off my lawn, kids!"
Yeah.
I love it. So if you turn on TV and radio today and you're somebody complaining about, in my day, the All-Star game was really a competitive battle.
Yeah,
But it did at the end, towards the end, when they have the 24 points that they got to get. It gets a little competitive. There's some defense, just enough to make you feel good about it.
This is a level of defense. Go ahead and shoot it. No, go ahead and shoot it.
It's better than the first 3 quarters when it's just like just doing this, just watching.
But you saw Jaw's 360 dunk, right?
Yes.
All it made me think is I wanted Jaw in that dunk contest. That's all I want to see.
I think McClung winning the dunk competition does one of 2 things.
Okay.
It either is going to get the stars to come out and kind of retake the dunk competition for a no-name kid who's in the G League, who's only famous because he can dunk, and he can dunk. You goes one of 2 ways. Either the big-time players go, we got to take this back, right? Or you go on a nationwide search, kind of like what And One did 20 years ago, and let's find the greatest dunkers on playgrounds all across America and make them the stars of it.
And bring them into the NBA dunk contest? I don't think so. I think the NBA now has a good crop of young, talented players that can jump, like the John Morants, like the Zion Williamsons, like the Jason Tatums, like the Jaylen Brown. Like, there's guys out there that can bring notoriety back to the dunk contest, but they're just choosing not to do it. Maybe because of ego a little bit, or being scared to fail and being that's going to define your career, especially with the way social media is set up nowadays. But we got to get those young guys in the dunk contest, man, that can play, that can bring the energy back to the game. It's the only way.
It's so funny you said it, because Julius Randle was not afraid to fail at the 3-point 3-point shooting contest. We predicted it. He delivered on it. Headline number 3 to the NFL, because there was major news over the weekend. The Commodores of Washington have made it official. There's my guy right there, who walks off a bus as good as anybody.
One of the best in business.
Right.
Classic bus walk-off.
Eric Bieniemy is now the associate head coach and the offensive coordinator, and I honestly still don't get it. I don't get it at all. There's a notion out there that he wasn't appreciated. I thought he was in Kansas City. You're the OC of a Patrick Mahomes-led team. Why would you ever leave that other than to become a head coach? And while I do appreciate he does get the extra title of associate head coach, so I'm sure there's a couple extra bucks that come with that.
Yep.
To me, there's some part of this story that we're all just missing or that we just don't know about. But look, he'll have a chance now on his own to run the Ron Rivera Commanders offense. He doesn't have a quarterback. Sam Howell's their QB1. He's only played 2-3 games in his NFL career. Heineke's a free agent. You're still saddled with Carson Wentz's contract.
Yikes.
And it just doesn't make sense to me.
A lot of moving parts there. I think the biggest thing for me is why hasn't this guy had the opportunity yet? Like,
Yeah.
What else does he have to do? What else does he have to prove? What else does he have to? Okay, he doesn't necessarily interview well or maybe not say the things that you want him to say in the meeting room, but isn't the proof in the production? Isn't the proof in the things that he's done, the things that he's accomplished? Yes, he's had arguably the best quarterback in the league over the past however many years he's been in Kansas City, but he still has to put those guys in position, still use the talent level that's around him to call plays and to do the things and put guys in position to score points. And granted, Andy Reid probably carries the bulk of that task, but I think he's still right there calling plays and doing the things he needs to do in order to create that plan to get those guys.
Yeah, there's something else, and I don't think it's just
So
that he doesn't interview well. I don't accept that. I don't think it's race-based either, but there's something else going on there for him to take a lateral position, even with the extra name on the resume.
Yeah.
We'll get into it more throughout the show with Victor later on. Your final headline, though, I saw the photograph. You saw the photograph. You saw the photograph.
Oh, I saw
it's
it.
that guy right there, Derek Carr, all smiles at a Summit, New Jersey Italian restaurant with the New York Jet Brass. From Nathaniel Hackett to Robert Saleh to Joe Douglas, having a nice Italian lunch and discussing the prospects of Derek Carr becoming a Jet. And I'm all in.
I know you
Let's
are.
get that baby done.
I know
Let's
you
not
are.
wait for Aaron Rodgers to emerge from that stupid underground house he's living in. And let's move forward with Derek Carr. I love it.
I also saw that interview you did with Aaron Rodgers. That was incredible.
Was that
man.
not
I just wanna
amazing?
Give you
Beautiful.
major
Thank
kudos
you.
on that.
Thank you.
You'd be the only guy to get him out of the darkness for an interview.
Only guy.
So you're the only guy. This is interesting. I do think the Jets should wait. I think they should wait for Aaron Rodgers. I think there's some better quarterbacks out there. They should hold off, not jump the gun. For
The
Derek
only
Carr.
better quarterback is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and you
All
want
right.
to wait for him to come out of that darkness and see what he wants to do.
I can't, man, because it's like, you know.
What if he ended with Lamar Jackson? Then what? Or the
Lamar-
possibility of getting Lamar?
I can't, Vic. I got a guy who'd be the best quarterback I've had in my lifetime, right? I've got a guy, he came all the way to New Jersey, and he went to a small little town many people don't know much about called Summit.
I love that town.
It's
My
a
daughter lives
beautiful
right around
suburban town. Eli lives there, as a matter of fact.
exactly.
Okay.
And he went to a nondescript Italian restaurant with no patrons in it.
It's called a Sparrows.
To me, I get the deal done. I'm not waiting for Aaron. I love Lamar. I don't think that's really going to happen. I think he's staying in Baltimore. And the fact that he had lunch, and now I just wait, tick-tock, for a deal to get done. We'll get more into it throughout the show because Victor and I are going to battle on that
Yeah, we
one.
will.
As we go to break,
You
though,
can see it in my face, too.
we give you a little video to make you happy early this morning on a President's Day. You may have heard of the Savannah Bananas. They're the
Best.
baseball version of the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah,
Well, they've come out with a brand new pitch. You've heard of the ghost pitch from the new relief pitcher for the New York Mets? How about the fireball pitch? Play it, boys. It's real. And it's awesome. And yes, he is rocking a cowboy hat.
What's going on here?
Nothing but flames,
Let's
Mr.
go.
Cruz.
Is this even
Now, does he
baseball
throw a
anymore?
strike or a ball real quick?
Oh, he's going to throw a ball.
Definitely a ball.
Oh, come on, man. You got to
Throw a strike.
You got to throw a strike.
Get the ball out.
My biggest problem is that he puts the fire out before he throws the ball.
Does he put it out or does it just go out?
I don't know. It seems like yeah, he puts it out.
I mean, to be fair, it's in his bare hand, Craig. What do you want him to do?
How much is a ticket to one of those games? I'm ready to go.
They're awesome, man.
I'm ready to go.
True story. Cody Decker's been offered twice opportunities to play for the Savannah Bananas.
I have, and I turned him down both times.
Yeah, don't you regret that now?
A little bit. I should have gone and done it.
All right, coming up after the break, Kevin Durant spoke about how happy it makes people when stars change teams. That's what he said. We'll get into it next on FS1.
Gillette presents the Gillette Labs with Exfoliating Bar. The bar and the handle removes unseen dirt and debris that gets in the way of the blades for effortless shaving in one efficient stroke. All with a lifetime warranty. And if you want to keep the beard, use King C Gillette, a lineup of products designed to cleanse, soften, trim, and style for your best beard. Gillette, the best a man can get.
Scott, you know the rules. No shrinking and drinking, obviously.
And do not give alcohol to the ants, even if they ask.
Not a problem, Hank. Alcohol free.
Scott. Guys, come on. It's my last one.
You're never gonna finish that. Your eyes are bigger than your thorax. Good luck.
Subway keeps upping their game with the Subway Series, an all-star menu of delicious subs. There's the Philly, the Monster, the Boss.
If I hadn't seen it in person, I wouldn't have believed it.
Eating is believing, Steph. The Subway Series. Try Subway's tastiest menu upgrade yet.
When your money's good, you feel good.
Nice.
Early payday, fee-free overdrafts, no monthly fee. It's banking the way it should be. Chime, the #1 most loved banking app.
The bedroom suite, with deliberate details and modern functionality. For the indoor enthusiast. Check in at Vuma.co.
This is a Floyd bed frame. This is also a Floyd bed frame. And here it is again. Timeless design, made from enduring materials that are simple to assemble, move, and it's
sturdy!
Adaptable to your needs. The Floyd bed frame is perfectly designed for how you live today and in the future. See our entire family of furniture at floydhome.com.
Create social media ads with Fiverr. You'll need your brand manager, copywriter, and Zena, a Fiverr freelance video editor that works with Fortune 500 companies who will join your team from home. Her home, not yours. Expand your team with a Fiverr freelancer.
I'm not looking for another job. I'm looking for the right culture. Somewhere that has that certain something that isn't listed in the job description, even though it should be.
It's showtime.
TV's #1 show is smoking hot.
We got a little burning situation.
Fox Thursday.
Cook like it's your last dish.
Who will be a hero in a hoagie showdown?
What am I doing?
You're an idiot sandwich. All new Next Level Chef this Thursday on Fox.
The all-powerful Kia SUVs assembled in Georgia. Lease a new 2023 Sportage LX for $279 a month during the President's Day sales event.
The islands of the Bahamas. Fly away.
The all-powerful Kia SUVs assembled in Georgia. Lease a new 2023 Sorrento LX for $319 a month during the President's Day sales event.
There's my main man, Kevin Durant. I know people like to argue it, but when dude's healthy, he's the best player in the league, and I don't think that's up for much debate. Victor Cruz is here, Cody Decker. Kevin Durant spoke yesterday, so it was kind of like the Red Sea parting, and he talked about why it's good for the league that stars like him like to demand trades. Listen to this.
I don't think it's bad for the league. It's bringing more eyes to the league. More people are more excited. The tweets that I got and the news hits that we got from me being traded, Kyrie being traded, just bring more attention to the league. And that's really what makes you money is when you get more attention. So I think it's great for the league, to be honest. Teams been trading players and making acquisitions for a long time. Now when a player can, kind of dictate where he wants to go and leaving free agency or demand a trade. It's just part of the game.
Yeah, listen, he's so right and so wrong at the very same time.
Exactly, yeah.
So if you, and not just to list some of the obviously well-known guys who over the last 5 years have demanded / requested trades.
And Simmons.
You could put Durant on that list 5 times, actually, at this point. Victor, here's the reality. He's right from the standpoint that at the trade deadline or the couple days leading up to it, when we hear a guy's disgruntled or a guy wants out or a guy's looking to be traded, we do go all in on it. We love it. So from that standpoint, he's dead on right that it creates this added interest in basketball. How could that be bad for basketball? So you're with me on that, right?
I'm with you on that.
Right. The problem is that when a guy of his caliber wants to be traded, or Kyrie, who I've said a million times on the show, is a top 25 talent in the history of the NBA when it comes to just basketball. When guys like that ask to be traded, there is a break, there's a dichotomy, there's a heads and tails to it. The town that's most likely, or rumored most, to get that player, of course, they love it. We're acquiring one of the great players in the NBA.
Correct.
Dallas felt that way about Kyrie.
Yep.
Phoenix felt that way, of course, about KD, and on and on.
Yep.
But what about those poor souls in the city that just got those guys a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, who didn't win a title with those guys, watching that level of talent walk out the door? It ain't good for those people.
Yeah, it ain't good for those guys at all. And those guys barely play. I mean, Kyrie barely played for them.
I think they played 74 games together, the two of them.
In a couple years, and KD still had, 3 years left on his deal? So I think the next CBA, we're going to see some changes. Some ownership is going to be like, look, you guys can't just leave us after we paid you all this money and we want you to be here, and you're the face of these guys are the faces of their franchise.
Yes, and the league.
And the league. So as much as it's good for maybe fans and guys like, social media guys that love seeing new teams and memes and things like that, it's still bad for the league, in my opinion, because these teams that go all in on these players, they can just wake up tomorrow and say, I don't really want to be here. I want to go to another contender.
Yeah.
And I'm not playing unless I do so.
Yeah, the sad reality of it is that the player will always get his way. And that's not usually a negative. I'm a pro player guy. But all you got to do is bitch and moan enough. Or you could even do the James Harden thing and get to a place where in Houston they don't even want you around because you're a cancer and all that kind of jazz. But it's good and it's bad. It's good because it creates attention. It's bad because you want a guy, especially a great player, to have a long career in one place so that he's identifiable with that jersey, right?
Yeah.
So you take Durant, Oklahoma City, the best young talent that never went to a final in the last 25 years. You go to Golden State, you got the dream team there. You win, you get a couple finals MVPs. All right, off to Brooklyn I go. Terrible failure. Off to Phoenix I go. And let's be honest, if the Phoenix Suns don't win an NBA title, not next year, but this year, now the Durant legacy is shifted a little bit.
Just a little bit. I mean, kudos to guys like Dame Lillard, too, right, that have stayed on one team, that try to bring guys in, that really stay committed to their teams. But we'll see. I think Kevin Durant, the fact that they were able to keep Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and KD, They're the odds.
No depth, but great starting five.
The great starting five. They're up there to win it. In my opinion, they're in contention for sure. So we'll see what happens.
Wouldn't you make the argument that Dame Lillard staying in Portland is actually an example on why you shouldn't be doing that?
Well, so here's the rub on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of dudes in his ear, great players saying, "What are you thinking, man?
Yeah.
Go get a title. Go, do something before your game diminishes."
Young,
But I respect it, and I think there are guys like that, like Dame Lillard, is beloved in Portland for that exact reason.
So and went somewhere, we would actually be like,
we would exactly.
Yes, we would.
We would.
But because he put his time in, right? Because he put his time, and it's kind of like the Carmelo Anthony thing while he was in Denver for so long. It's like, all right, guys, he's done the most that he can.
Right, he took you to a Western
Let him
final.
go somewhere and be in contention and really compete for a championship.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about it.
It's a good point, though. If Lillard, at some point next year said, all right, guys, look, it's been a decade.
Come on.
Yeah. Look at the West.
Come on.
We're at no point of winning. Could you do me a solid? I'll tell you what. The similarity between him and KD is this. The Brooklyn Net front office and Sean Marks and the owner, Joe Tsai, did say to KD, as the stories now come out privately, KD said, I want to go to Phoenix. But he didn't make a big spectacle about it like last summer where he demanded a trade, and they said, no, we're not trading you. They said to him, here's the deal. We appreciate you. We respect you. We will go to Phoenix, and we will make a demand. And there's no wiggle on it. If the Phoenix Suns accept what we want, we will trade you to Phoenix. But you have to understand, we're not negotiating, all right? If they don't accept what we want, we're not going to trade you. And as the story goes, Durant goes, I can accept that. At least you're giving me a shot.
Yeah.
And the new owner came in, and about 2 hours after he inked the deal to officially take over the Phoenix Suns, he's like, let's make a splash and go win a title in my first year. As a Suns fan, yeah, Durant's right. You got to love that. As a Brooklyn Net fan who's now looking at a bunch of pieces that might be competitive on a good day, our window of winning a championship is shut.
Diminished. And I don't know what you have for next year. I don't know what that looks like, who's in contention, who even wants to play for the Nets in the coming years to even get back to where they were. So we'll see how it shapes out. But right now, the Phoenix Suns are in contention for a championship.
Now, I know a lot of people watching the All-Star game yesterday were saying, speaking of guys moving from franchise to franchise, the Dallas Mavericks are not going to extend Kyrie or give him the max. And let's take a look at the All-Star picks last night. As you may have seen, Team Giannis and Team LeBron got to pick who was on their team, and everybody wanted to know if given the opportunity, would LeBron James pick Kyrie Irving? The answer is yes.
Yeah, of course.
He did.
Obviously.
The answer is yes, he wants him.
Yes.
The answer is never going to be no.
Yep.
He won a title with them.
Yeah.
It's a major upgrade, and that'll be great fodder for this offseason.
Yeah, 100%. We'll see what happens there. Obviously, LeBron wants Kyrie.
How could you not?
I think it's the only place where Kyrie will feel appreciated, where he'll understand exactly what's being asked of him. He's played with LeBron before. As it's been well documented, it's not easy to play with LeBron, understanding how he operates and how he demands the best out of his players, but Kyrie's been there. He understands it. He gets it. I don't know if the Kyrie-Luka thing is going to work out because they're such the same type of player. Who's going to make the sacrifice to get the ball less in those crunch moments? So we'll see. I think the Lakers are going to make a strong push for him, man, and we'll see.
Right now, they better make a strong push to get into the postseason because with 23 games to go there on the outset, they're not even in the play-in right now. They are 13th, but they are a much better team, at least on paper, than they were 2 weeks ago. Before we take a break, it should be noted that a golfer came in 45th place on Sunday.
Oh, really?
Shot a 2 over 73 in the final round, and it's the biggest story in the sport. And that's my guy Tiger, who finished all 4 rounds. He finished the tournament 1 under par, and I'm not kidding, he came in 45th. And if I did a quick quiz around the room, who won the Genesis? Not a single hand is up. Right.
I know who it was.
Nobody cares.
It was John Rahm.
No, Tiger.
Because that's what we're talking about.
Tiger Woods is the winner of the Genesis Invitational because he finished. If I got points for finishing, let me be careful.
What? No. Finish that thought, please.
I'm way over par. I'm bogey, double bogey. Anyhow, he did finish it out, and he will most likely not play again until this year's Masters coming up, of course, in April. John Rahm actually won the tournament. Nobody cares because Tiger Woods finished the tournament. I'm trying to think of another sport, a guy we've ever seen like that. And outside MJ,
yeah,
there ain't a guy like that.
He's
you
the
know,
only guy.
Tom Brady.
Now, if Tom Brady missed the playoffs, that's a story for a day.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, then you fast forward to the playoffs and the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
This dude, and I love him, shows up, comes in 45th, and it's the lead story for the
But
sport.
shout out to him making the cut. I mean, he was grimacing with every step he took on that Sunday afternoon. You could tell he was in some pain.
I did that too yesterday, but that's for much different reasons. Coming up, Victor just teased the relationship between Kyrie Irving and Luka in Dallas. We're going to get into whether or not that relationship can work and if it can pay dividends, meaning a trip to the NBA Finals. We got that and much more hoops coming up right after this on FS1.
I like to move it. You like to move it.
We're reinventing our network.
Move it. I like to move it. I like to move it. I like to move it. You like to move it. I like to move it. You like to move it.
Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service.
Question: how's your money management game? I tried spreadsheets, post-it notes, and mental math, but could never keep up with everything. That's why I started Rocket Money, an app to lower bills, find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, and bring your entire financial picture into focus. Download Rocket Money today.
When the details take precedence, the rest falls perfectly into place. We strip away everything but the essential, and what we're left with are thoughtful bedrooms for modern living. Thuma.
Easy credit building, early payday, fee-free overdrafts.
Thank you.
It's banking the way it should be. Chime, the #1 most loved banking app.
Create amazing work with Fiverr. All you need is your team and a talented freelancer who will lend a hand and seamlessly join your team from just about anywhere. Expand your team with a Fiverr freelancer.
This is a Floyd bed frame. Timeless design, enduring materials, simple to assemble, the Floyd bed frame is perfectly designed for how you live today and in the future. See our entire family of furniture at floydhome.com.
Can you believe this? Doug Flutie and Frank Thomas. You guys look great. Once I turn 40...
Let me guess, less energy, less drive?
Definitely.
It's not your fault. It happens to every man. Testosterone levels drop as you age.
Happened to you guys?
Yep.
So what did you do?
We got Nugenix Total T.
To get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, text SURGE to 231231. This unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help increase testosterone levels.
That does it. I gotta get Nugenix. Just send a text for a complimentary bottle. And by the way, she'll like it too.
Get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix now. Text SURGE to 231231. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, with key ingredients to help you get back in shape fast. Absolutely free. That's SURGE to 231231.
For the line crew and the go-getters. For shoulders to lean on and backs that don't break. For everyday heroes keeping doors open, lights on, and gears turning, there's Grainger. Supplies and solutions for every industry, plus 24/7 support and over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why pay over $100 a month for cable when it's half the cost for Fubo TV? Get all the channels you want, with all the entertainment you love, for the price that cable can't beat. Try free at FuboTV.com.
to the events of Elimination Chamber. Who remains on the road to WrestleMania? An all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, on Fox.
The NASCAR Cup Series takes on the controlled chaos of Fontana. Coverage begins Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on Fox.
Meow. 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 There you go. Oh, what a great Daytona we had yesterday. Next Sunday, the NASCAR Cup Series roars into Fontana for the final race on the 2-mile oval. Kyle Larson looking to repeat, or maybe there'll be a new West Coast King crowned. Regardless, engines fire at 3:30 Eastern on Fox after that double overtime thriller yesterday in the Great American Race. More on that a little bit later on as Victor Cruz is here. Victor, you talked about Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. Well, before we get into that and see what the Dallas Mavericks can do, Kyrie Irving was introduced to the Utah crowd yesterday, and they're good people in Utah, aren't they?
Yeah.
They don't like Kyrie Irving, though. Listen to this. Welcome. Thank you. Hi.
NBA champion and an 8-time All-Star from the Dallas Mavericks, Kyrie Irving.
Ooh. I'm more concerned with the gal dancing behind him. And if somebody can maybe grab me a phone number, that would be fantastic. If you guys want to put that up again, just so you know, full service show. Yeah. Just want to be happy. Just want to be there for everybody.
Smart
as Kyrie Irving gets booed. Yep. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? I'm an Aquarius. Shake it to the left. Shake it to the right. Pop, 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 pop. Everything's good. And anyway. Yeah. So I'm just pointing out what everybody was watching. So he gets booed. Now, you got to feel for the people of Utah. Yeah. There's not a lot to cheer about in Utah, right?
Yeah.
So what do? You boo a guy like Kyrie because he's an easy target, right? Exactly. Not as a player, but all the off-the-court stuff that we've debated back and forth for the last couple of years. So what do you cheer if you're in Utah? Well, let's listen to the crowd as they welcome back Karl Malone and John Stockton. Oh, yeah. Here's Utah again. Go ahead, boys.
John Stockton.
Yeah, they sure do love their anti-vaxxers and pedophiles in Utah, don't they? Yes, they do. What's crazy about that is how are people just waking up to what Karl Malone, has in his past from literally 30 years ago? Like, it's not new news. No. Although on social media, it seems like it's new news. Yeah. We are well aware of Karl Malone's past. He raped a 13-year-old many, many years ago, impregnated her, and she had a child. And then the story gets even worse, if you can believe it. After that, John Stockton is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Just a nuts.
Like, isn't there any? Is Adrian Dantley available? Can we find somebody who played in Utah that's not a total wacko?
Yeah, this is interesting to me. Like, I mean, I don't even know where you draw the line here. Why do you, in Salt Lake City, why is Kyrie the guy that gets the booze because of the things he stands on and whatever he believes in? And the guys like Karl Malone and John, who are absolutely out of their minds.
Standing ovation.
Standing ovation.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to figure out where in society, is it the Salt Lake City fans? Is it just this world that we live in? That one guy gets the jeers and one guy gets the cheers.
Yeah, well, Kyrie Irving spoke not about being booed. I think he accepts that he's going to be booed everywhere but Dallas right now because that's the way it goes when you're a pro athlete. But he did talk on playing with Luka. Now, they're 0-3 together. Okay. All right, so the question, of course, is that troubling for Dallas Mavericks fans? Here's what Kyrie had to say about the partnership between him and Luka. Check this out.
It's going to be a figuring out process, and I wouldn't call it trouble. I just, we've dealt with some ups and downs throughout live games, and that's our only way we can really grow. I wish we could have training camp together where you guys don't see some of our mistakes, but we're living it out in front of you guys. So for me, I just have to prepare to be an incredible teammate, of course, but also be selfless enough to change my approach game to game.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. A lot of times we think, me included, that when you're just great talent, I can just roll the ball out there and you're just going to dominate. And then you totally forget and dismiss the fact that you're playing against other members of the world's greatest athletes, right? So I think that's part of it. We also saw, their first game together when it was kind of like hot potato. No, you take it. No, I'll take it. No, you take it. That being said, Dallas right now has lost 3 in a row. They're only 2 games over 500, and they're sitting in the 6th spot. The 6th is the most important spot because you don't want to come down to 7, 8, 9, or 10.
Don't want to be in
I'd be shocked if they did. Considering that New Orleans is not going anywhere, obviously, without Zion. Minnesota, who's having a really good year, and I love Anthony Edwards, a great young player. Not enough talent yet, I don't think, to really, over a 20-game period, knock Dallas out of that.
Correct.
Golden State, to me, is the absolute wild card. But it's interesting where, you put 2 great players together, and then you really cross your fingers and just hope that they do figure it out in real time. Like Kyrie said, they don't have the benefit of, let's play for a month together and then start a season. They got 23 games to go, and every game counts.
Yeah, they got to figure out how to make this work together. I think the onus is on Jason Kidd from a plays perspective, from trying to get everybody in position to win and in position to be advantageous and take advantage of their skill sets. But it's going to come down to one of those guys just making a sacrifice. Who's going to be the guy to say, here, it's your show today, or it's your show today?
Right.
Like, it's going to take one of those guys being like, I need to be the one that's going to facilitate early and then get the ball to my playmakers. Then I'm going to get mine when I get mine. And then one guy has to be like, okay, you're the guy today. I got to put it on my shoulders and score some points.
To me, the only difference is that Luka, since he became a star right out of the gate in Dallas, has never had to play off the ball.
Yeah.
He's always had the ball. Kyrie has shown, with some of the great players he's played with, KD and LeBron, just to name the obvious 2, has shown an ability to play off ball and dominate. So to me, it's easy. Luka's got the ball more. He's the go-to guy at first. And then if he gets doubled up, or if he can't get a shot off, then Kyrie's the obvious, Robin to his Batman.
It needs to be the LeBron approach. LeBron takes the start of the game, gets everybody else involved, starts making passes, gets his points when he gets his points, and then we see how the adjustments happen throughout the course of the game. I think that's how they need to approach this.
Yeah, I still say don't sleep on Golden State. They are in the 9th spot right now, but if and when Steph Curry gets back, to me, they got the pedigree. I know a lot of people say, no, it doesn't matter when he comes back. They haven't played 10 games, 15 games all together, with the big 4 on the court at the same time, but they know how to win.
Yep.
And I think as soon as Curry's back on the court, and I've not seen an updated timetable other than soon, with that thigh injury where he had some ligament damage, whatever it may be, that's the only team right now that's in the 7, 8, 9, 10 spot right there. Pelicans, Minnesota, Golden State, and Oklahoma City. Golden State, out of those 4, to me, is the only team that has a legitimate shot of either A, getting out of that bottom 4, or B, doing something in the postseason.
It's scary that they're right there,
right?
Because they got the pedigree, they know how to win, they got the same core guys that have been there before, and if they catch fire, it could be really scary.
Yeah.
So they got the leadership, they understand it. Draymond's going to lead that team with his voice and the things he does around the football, around the basketball court with rebounding and the things he does. But it'll be interesting to see where this team goes because they're scary at the 9th.
Do not lose sleep on Golden State. That's all I'm going to tell you with 20-some-odd games to go. Hey, meanwhile, speaking of a guy that looked like he could play some ball, I don't know if you watched the celebrity game. I do because I have nothing else in life going on. But DK Metcalf was the MVP of the Celebrity All-Star game on Friday night. A couple glimpses from the game. I know no one watches it, but I'm all about hoops, so I watch all this stuff. I can't get enough.
Take a peek.
But the Metcalf story is not even so much that he can throw it down or that he was the MVP. It's a video that he put out. So I want to show you this video DK Metcalf put out where somebody throws him a football. Watch this real quick. I thought this was altered. All right?
It's altered.
That's definitely altered.
No.
Craig.
By the way, I thought it was too.
It is.
It's not.
Come on.
Show it one more time, guys.
Okay.
Show it one more time.
Craig.
Yes.
That is real.
Not real.
You know how I know it's real?
How?
The NFL's drug testing him today.
So what?
And I'm not making that up.
No,
When
I
that video went viral, then you add to it the fact that he was the celebrity basketball MVP. He got a notice from the NFL. There it is right there. We'll see you Monday.
Oh, okay.
Prepared to pee.
They're drug testing him for CGI, Craig. That's not real.
See, Listen, don't be a hater.
I'm not being a hater. That's not real.
Victor, I know you got hurt and your ups aren't what they used to be. Why do we always have to break people down?
We're not breaking them down. We saw him jump and dunk in the game.
I tore 2 ligaments just watching him jump.
Can you guys show it to me one more time? Honestly, you guys don't think this is a real standing still high jump?
Craig.
Oh, I bought into this then.
Yeah, Craig.
Look at that.
Craig,
he's like 6 feet up.
Did you watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and be like, oh, look at them all fly? How are they doing it?
No.
You didn't? How are you watching this?
Like, that was real.
No, man.
How do they make that happen? You can't just change
How did
video
Xiao
like
Young
that.
Fat fly through trees? How did it happen, Craig?
That sounds to me like something Fugazi's going on over there. But I'm going to do some research on what's it called again?
Yeah, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, is that the karate version of like Neo flying through the air?
You know what? Yes, a little bit.
Meanwhile, the next big star is not Wembanyama or even DK Metcalf. There's a 13-year-old kid who plays for Real Madrid, the basketball version, who's 6'9".
Wow.
At 13. I hope he doesn't get to 7 feet because, you know, that means as far as life expectancy goes. No, it just happens.
Well, he hasn't hit his growth spurt yet.
You guys, listen,
scary.
7-footers die
scary.
young. That's just the reality that, you know, 7-footers don't want to deal with. But check out this kid. He's 13 years old. And that is a grown man right there.
Just spooky
He
stuff.
should not be playing with these children.
By the way, who knew Real Madrid had a basketball program?
That
Right?
part. And I'm sure they're funneling some good players out of that thing.
Apparently, Luka's out of there.
It was Luka a Real Madrid guy? Yeah.
Look at that.
But here's my problem. This dude's got biceps and triceps like he's a 30-year-old,
He looks
right?
like Giannis.
I need to see two things. I need to see a birth certificate here in this guy. And secondly, who do I need to reproduce with?
Yeah, seriously.
Just point her out. I need one of these for my own.
It's got to be a UCLA volleyball player out there.
At least.
That you can get together with.
I dropped the ball on that.
All right, listen, much more coming up after a great NBA All-Star weekend, unless you're just one of those hater old school guys who wants actual basketball to be played. The question for everyone is, can LeBron James lead the Lakers on what he said, not me, are the 23 most important games of his career? That's next on FS1.
The bedroom suite, with deliberate details and modern functionality. For the indoor enthusiast. Check in at thuma.co.
So a 2-2 tie. There's a high fly ball deep to right. Crazy, just crazy.
Bayer Aspirin, official sponsor of fans' hearts.
Life is expensive, so why is Omar snoozing like a baby? Because he made the smart choice to shop with IKEA. With new benefits for IKEA family members, including 5% off all eligible purchases in-store. Every visit, every day. IKEA.
Create an amazing website with Fiverr. You'll need your web developer, UX writer, and Amy, a Fiverr freelance graphic designer with dozens of 5-star reviews who will join your team from her favorite coffee shop. Don't forget to tip. Expand your team with a Fiverr freelancer.
Fee-free overdrafts, early payday, no monthly fee. It's banking the way it should be. Chime, the #1 most loved banking app.
For the night owls, for the early birds, for the mentors, and the tough mothers. There's Grainger, supplies and solutions for every industry, with real-time product availability online and next-day delivery options. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KFC has wraps now?
Got 2 for $5.
Wait, there's one with spicy slaw?
Grab 2 new Kentucky Fried Chicken wraps for just $5.
He's going to be signaling in to Jamar Smith all the play calls.
First down. Pressure from everywhere. Marlon Williams running room. Slips a couple of tackles. Big run by Williams all the way to the house.
Are your headlights cloudy and oxidized, making your car look bad? Are they underperforming when you need them most? Cerakote's Headlight Restoration Kit restores weathered headlights back to like new and keeps them that way for life. Stop wasting your time with solutions that don't last. Cerakote's kit includes everything you need to go from this to this. Simply wipe away oxidation, give them a light sanding, and apply the ceramic coating. That's it. The True Ceramic technology does the rest. They'll restore clarity, look great, and are guaranteed to last. Available at Walmart and Amazon.
I sign up for free trials all the time. What I don't do is cancel them. Rocket Money uncovers hidden subscriptions and notifies you when a charge is upcoming. From there, you decide if you want that service. And if not, cancel it right from the app with one tap. Download Rocket Money today.
Thanks to Avalara, we can calculate sales tax automatically. Avalara.
What if tax rates change? Filing sales tax returns. Business license guidance. Cross-border sales. Item classification. Does it connect with it?
It's a little tight in the kitchen.
I could live with it.
You shouldn't live with it. You should love it. I can help. It's the Redfin lady. When you search with Redfin, we'll recommend homes you might have missed on your own. And you can tour them today. This just came on the market.
That's it.
Oh, look.
How did we miss this?
Well, you can't search everywhere at once, but we can.
Okay, I can't wink. I tried.
Want to win? Choose Redfin.
It started with making a better men's shirt. And now we're on a mission to take over your entire closet with basics that last a lifetime. Inspired by our Southern California roots, Built Basics is here to elevate your style in true premium fashion. Make the switch to premium basics today and level up your look. Shop now at BuiltBasics.com.
Black History Month is a perfect time to reflect on all of our black heroes. Don't count the days, make the days count is not a quote attributed to a poet or a novelist, but rather boxer Muhammad Ali. Both spiritual and lyrical, there has never been an athlete quite like him. He challenged not only authority, but the way we thought and lived, all the while becoming the greatest heavyweight fighter of all time, and inarguably the most important. Ali was Instagram and TikTok before they existed. Endlessly entertaining, but serious and defiant. He made not only opponents uncomfortable, but our government too, refusing to support the Vietnam War, saying, "You want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home." Muhammad Ali opened the doors for every athlete to walk through.
Well done, and of course, throughout February, Black History Month, all the shows here on FS1 will be honoring the legacies of the brave men and women who set the table for our athletes today, not just on the field, but of course off the field as well. One of those athletes, of course, is LeBron James, who, and for a guy that's accomplished everything in his NBA life, and even off the court as well with great business successes, he did come out and he said that these final 23 games are the most important of his career. Really? Yeah, listen.
It's 23 of the most important games of my career.
What?
For a regular season. And the type of mindset that I have, and I hope the guys will have coming back off the break. Most important for me right now is to maintain my health and be available to my teammates, after this break, because we have to make a strong push if we want to do anything special.
Yeah, listen, he's right, and he did hurt either his pinky or his ring finger on the rim last night. He did that because he said he made a promise he'd try to play defense on one play last night, and in that one play he tried to, and I'm not making that up, he actually said that. Jeez. In that one play, he hurt his finger. Yep. That being said, he's got to play all 23. Mm-hmm. So if you look at it, they have, on paper, and I usually don't put a lot into this, but the sixth easiest remaining schedule in the NBA over these final 23 games. Good. But here's the reality. In the West, you're going to have to get to 40 wins. That's got to be the magical number, and that just gets you to the 10 spot. Yep. All right, 40 is the number. So if you start doing the math, what do the Lakers have to do to get to 40? That means you got to go 14-9. Anything above that's gravy. So when you look at their schedule, and you recognize that they've now got the ability to shoot from the outside with Russell and Beasley, and they're younger, and they have some more depth, which is a little overrated because this time of year you're not going 10 deep, 11 deep. But if that guy stays healthy, and not more important, but equally as important, Anthony Davis has to not take another day off.
Big time.
You've got to play all 23.
That is huge.
And I think if they do that, I think they get into the play-in game.
Yeah, I think they're right there on the cusp of it. But again, I think it's about the mindset. That's what LeBron's talking about, right? He's the most important 23 games of his career is the mindset that he's putting himself into to be successful down the stretch. But the biggest thing you touched on is AD. Yeah. AD has to stay healthy,
because
man.
it doesn't matter what D'Angelo Russell does.
None of those guys do. If AD stays healthy and he's a presence defensively and he can score buckets offensively and be out there on the court, this team is a different team.
Yeah, and AD has played really well the last month when he's been on the court, but now it's one of those things where load management, it's got to get thrown out the window, taking days off, thrown out the window. They've got the majority of this week off. NBA does not resume until Thursday and Friday. Take the 3 days, whatever you got to do, feed up, chill by the pool, have some pina coladas, but they have a 23-game sprint now. And that just gets them into the playing game, where if they're 9 or 10, they're one and done.
Yeah.
Right?
AD, hydrate. That should be no pina coladas for AD. Let's hydrate, my guy. And this is when those expensive trainers that everyone has on their staff, this is when they make their money. This is when they have to keep you healthy, keep you spry for this 23-game stretch and hopefully into the playoffs.
I'm taking a look. I'm trying to figure out. Portland's not getting in my opinion. Utah's not getting in. So if the Lakers jump them, and by the way, they are 2 games in the loss column behind Portland, a game in the loss column behind Utah. So they've got to outplay them and have a better record. I'm trying to figure out what team drops out. To me, it's either New Orleans or Minnesota. They would be the 2 most likely teams, unless you tell me Zion comes back with 18 games to go and plays the way he played the first 2 months of the season, which was, all-star caliber basketball. But you just can't count on that guy.
Yeah, you can't count on him. And I think in the Lakers' perspective, they just got to put their head down. Put their head down.
Just go win games.
Just grind it out. Don't look ahead. Don't just take it one game at a time and win each one and pick your head up at the end of the season to see where you are.
Yeah, the flip side of that is everyone talking about Phoenix now. The Suns now the favorite to represent the West in the NBA Finals. Just a quick reminder to everybody, they're in 5th place. All right, KD hasn't played for them yet. I know he's going to play with them very shortly, but for them to go from the 5th seed to the NBA Finals, not that it can't happen. You're forgetting about Denver. You're forgetting about Memphis. I agree Sacramento's not a threat, but you better get your act together and get KD on the court before you're going from 5th up to 3rd.
Yeah, but you got to like the fact that Chris Paul bringing the ball up court with Devin Booker on one side and KD on the other and having those options and obviously facilitating the ball himself. You got to love that going into this.
I tell you what's really crazy right now, let me just double check. Oh, I don't have a watch on. It's Monday, February 20th.
Yes.
The most talked about guy today in the NBA is not LeBron James. It's not Kevin Durant, who spoke obviously over the weekend. It's not even Kyrie Irving.
Okay.
It's Mac hung like McClung.
Oh, wow.
Now, a lot of you are saying right now, who the hell is that guy? He's a guy that last week won MVP in my YMCA league, but dude can flush.
Yes, he can.
All right? He can dunk better than anything else he can do. And the NBA said, let's bring a G League player who I guess plays for the Sixers G League team out there, and let's let him do his thing.
Well, the Sixers just brought him up on a day-to-day, whatever those contracts
10-day contract.
That thing. So he's getting his opportunity, but the guy if you've been following this guy on Instagram and on social for a while, since high school, he's one of those guys. He's been doing this for a minute.
But that's the dunk right there that ended it. It's a wrap. And that was the, what's 360 plus 180? 540, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. A 540 two-hand reverse. What are we talking about? And he's only about 6 feet tall.
Look at him.
Maybe 6'1", right?
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
This looks like a guy I wouldn't speak to at a family reunion, let alone a guy that would win a dunk contest.
Yeah, I'm going to get involved in P90X myself now. If you can dunk like that. I once remember those shoes they used to sell. I bought them, where it's got like the block under the front.
I remember
so
those.
you're walking like this all day, like Ralph Macchio in Karate Kid 1,
Trying to
where
build
his
up his
heels never
calves.
hit the ground.
My entire high school basketball team wore those. We used to do Friday workouts in
See?
like a 30-minute warm-up.
Yeah.
100%.
Everybody could dunk, right?
We all dunk.
How big are your calves?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty solid.
Nice.
Pretty solid,
Yeah,
I'm
just
not
walk
gonna
around
lie.
like this all day.
I tried
to
it.
do
It
these
helped.
little like split jumps. Like in hindsight, I was like, we look crazy. We look crazy doing this.
Anyhow, so yeah, now that dude, if I'm the Sixers, not that they have any trouble selling tickets, they don't.
Yeah.
But I keep that guy on the roster, my 12th man, and I let him entertain the crowd. He's not going to get any run or burn in a game, but I let that guy go out there, and it's kind of like
a mascot.
Not so much a mascot. It's like the guy that shows up at the golf club and can drive at 400 yards, but can't do anything else.
Yes.
Right. So he wins a lot of money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you don't want to putting for dough, right?
No.
Yeah.
Mac hung like McClung,
And he said it 3 times.
household name. So now what do you do? Do the stars get together and say, yo, it was great watching him do it, and they celebrated it. We got to get our game back. Yo, hey, John Morant next year, you got to be in it. Zion, you got to be in it. Or do we now go on a nationwide tour and find the great dunkers in America and turn the event over to them?
No, we can't be. This is the NBA dunk contest.
You wouldn't have known it by Saturday night.
We have to get NBA players, great players, young players back into this thing. If Kobe Bryant did it in his first couple years in the league, like it should be no exemption on some of these young, great talents being in this contest as well.
Like this guy's only in the league now because of this, because he can dunk.
Hey, look, however
Right?
you get in, baby. Like,
Yeah.
you know, whatever it takes, work on your jump shot and everything else, and you'll get a shot. But the John Morants, the Zion Williamses have to be in this thing to bring that energy back into the dunk.
Yeah, I went to New Jersey middle school yesterday because I thought I was going to be a tough guy with my kids, and I was going to Mac hung like McClung. No,
not at all.
It's not that easy.
No, it's not. It's being that hung like McClung.
I even brought out a trampoline. I still couldn't do it.
I don't think that would work out well for you.
Yeah. And no, I'm not hung like McClung.
Oh,
I
man.
can't dunk it. It's a family program, Cody, so watch it.
You said it 3 times.
I'm allowed to. No one's listening. All right. Coming up, there was a big lunch in New Jersey about 15 minutes away from where the New York Jets practice in a town called Florham Park. And at that lunch was Derek Carr and the New York Jet executive branch. What does that mean? Probably nothing.
To all the Chevy Silverado owners out there, the adventurers and the doers, to everyone who works hard and plays hard. Whether it's your first Silverado or your 10th. Thank you for making Chevy Silverado the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup.
Next on Behind the Series.
Let me tell you about the greatest roster ever assembled.
The monster, the outlaw, and you can't forget about the boss.
Sometimes you just want to eat your heroes. The Subway Series, the greatest menu of all time.
Targets are on site.
Were you followed? No. Do you have the assets? It's all here, as we discussed.
I'm in position.
Should we get some lunch? Sounds good. I'm famished.
If you're an undercover agent, you need to be undercover. And if you want to save by bundling home and car insurance, you need Geico.
We're out to get out of there.
In pursuit.
See how much you could save by bundling with Geico.
I can't believe we were actually put on pause.
Am I anxious about being back? Does it seem like I am?
I'm glad to be back because this is what I was made for. I mean, as a walking, talking candy, my options are pretty limited.
When the details take precedence, the rest falls perfectly into place. We strip away everything but the essential. And what we're left with are thoughtful bedrooms for modern living. Thuma.
Early payday. Easy credit building. When your money's good, you feel good. Chime, the #1 most loved banking app.
This is a Floyd bed frame. This is also a Floyd bed frame. And here it is again. Timeless design, made from enduring materials that are simple to assemble, move, and it's
sturdy!
Adaptable to your needs. The Floyd bed frame is perfectly designed for how you live today and in the future. See our entire family of furniture at floydhome.com.
Develop a gorgeous app with Fiverr. You'll need your product manager, QA engineer, and Omar, a Fiverr freelance product designer with an impressive number of orders who will join your team from home. Smart and cozy. Expand your team with a Fiverr freelancer.
Why pay over $100 a month for cable when it's half the cost for Fubo TV? Get all the channels you want with all the entertainment you love for the price that cable can't beat. Try free at FuboTV.com.
Oh my goodness!
Look like there's a flag.
Mike, I can't keep up with you. You're racing around like you're 10 years younger. How do you stay in such great shape?
Eugenics Total T, Ed, helps me stay leaner, stronger, and gives me back to the energy and stamina I had when I was younger.
How'd you hear about Eugenics?
You kidding? You haven't seen Frank Thomas and Doug Flutie talk about it? Men over 40, get Eugenics Total T and get back on your game. Tell them to send a text.
Send a text. To get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, text ADMIT to 369-369. This unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically validated to help increase free testosterone levels so you can trim up and stay lean.
Hey, Ralph, aren't you forgetting something?
Get your complimentary bottle of Nugenix now. Text ADMIT to 369-369. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, absolutely free.
Welcome back to the Carton Show on FS1. It's time for your mid-show headlines. And headline number one, we had the NBA All-Star game last night. Team Giannis beats Team LeBron 184-175. Jason Tatum sets a record with 55 points and wins the MVP.
Wait, there's no defense being played?
None at all.
What? Oh, my gosh.
I can't believe it.
I want my money back. I can't believe that. What? That's not NBA basketball.
Back in my day.
Who do I write a letter to? You know, Michael Jordan never played a game like that. You know, Kobe Bryant, may rest in peace, hated games like that. You know, the great Dr. J wouldn't have stood for that.
Agreed.
Slow your roll, everybody. Stop being that guy. And there's a lot of people online right now that are acting like that guy. This is, this, dear Adam Silver, this is unwatchable. This is not basketball. James Naismith is rolling over his grave. Yeah. Meanwhile, he's a racist, all right?
Hey, Craig.
Yeah.
What happened on the one play LeBron played defense on?
He got hurt.
That's right.
Yeah, he got hurt. Anyhow. Yeah, don't play. Now, it used to be, the All-Star game's gone through, for my money, kind of 3 iterations, all right? If you want to go back to the 80s, you know, that we consider like the golden era for a lot of us.
Probably 63 skyhooks in that game.
Yeah, yes. The final score was like 90-86. And they did play defense, right? Then you go to iteration number 2, where they played defense for the last 5 minutes. And they did care for the last 5 minutes. Iteration number 3 is, to hell with it. I'm not getting hurt. I want to go to Cabo, which is where a lot of guys go. So, I mean, I love it, though, because I'm a basketball head. So the more hoops you get at that level, you know, the better for somebody like me. I'm entertained by it.
What did you think of the live draft right beforehand?
Yeah, I like the fact that Giannis still didn't understand the concept.
Yes.
That we don't want.
Neither do we. Neither do we.
You're right.
I'm trying to figure this out myself.
So here's the rub on it. So you have the starters, you know that going in. You just don't know what team they're going to be on.
Exactly.
So the reason they drafted the backups first is that the NBA is very sensitive to a player feeling like, I don't want to be the last guy taken.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Right? And, you know, guys will be in their feelings on something like that.
The last
Some guys
guy taken out of the best of the crop in the entire NBA.
In your lifetime, that guy's never been the last guy taken.
It's like the Mr. Irrelevant of the NBA draft.
Exactly. So they reversed the order on it. That way, the last guy taken, the 2 last guys, one of them was Joker.
Yeah.
So that's why they did it that way. But I like it. I know there's no defense. I know it's basically just an up and down dunkathon. But I can't do that. I can't replicate that. I can't even do that in 2K. You know, so watching the best players in the world do stuff athletically that none of us can do, I like it.
Yeah, I loved it. I love the fact that Damian Lillard just shooting casual half-court threes like it's a free
Right,
throw.
and sinking them like they're
and
nothing.
You know,
Donovan Mitchell, same thing. It's just
the craziest thing about the Lillard half-court three is that he took it as a jump shot.
Mm-hmm.
And why I say that is because the strength, the upper body strength, to actually take what amounts to a 45-foot three-pointer is astonishing. I don't want to speak for Victor, but the three of us could not reach the rim if we took that as a jump shot.
It would take me a million tries.
Right, we could throw it
Yeah.
and maybe hit it, but if we try to go up and knock down a jump shot,
no chance.
We would not reach the basket.
No way. And that's the difference between like them and everybody else.
Exactly right. So I liked it, and all good. You know, and you had 55 points. My man's a rock star. Go ahead.
Headline number 2, it's official. The Commanders officially named Eric Bieniemy their offensive coordinator and assistant head coach.
Yeah.
Are Ron Rivera's days numbered, Craig?
No.
No?
No, I don't think so. I mean, listen, if they don't win this year, yeah, he'll be fired. I don't think he goes in on the proverbial hot seat. I think first they got to figure out who the owner of that team is going to be because it's a dysfunctional mess. And I'm not going to rest well until I figure out this whole Bieniemy thing because it doesn't make sense. Because when you take a guy that's been the OC of a team that's gone to 3 Super Bowls and won 2 of them and been to 5 AFC championship games, even if you want to give Andy Reid all the credit, it doesn't matter. He's still the offensive coordinator of that team. We've seen other guys who are in the very same spot based on the team's success get opportunities to be head coaches. And you can't tell me, no disrespect to the 2 guys that just left Philadelphia, Gannon and I'm blocking on the other coordinator's name. Steichen. Thank you, Steichen. That those guys are more qualified than Eric Bieniemy.
These guys are.
Right?
Yeah.
And I understand Bieniemy's got an ugly past.
Yes.
All right? But it's also 20 years ago. And if you tell me that he figured out his demons and he made right on the things he did literally 20 years ago, well, listen, he was good enough to be a Kansas City chief offensive coordinator, so he's good enough to be employed by the NFL. He's not been in any trouble that we're aware of for now 2 decades. There comes a point where I'm saying to myself, why take the lateral move, and why hasn't another team given this guy a shot to be a head coach? I don't get it.
But I think he took the lateral move just to kind of get out of Andy Reid's shadow a little bit.
I buy
just
that.
Kind of be his own guy and say, I'm the one calling these plays. But let's be clear, he's the one creating these game plans with Andy Reid. He's the one putting these guys in position for success. He's the one making sure Patrick Mahomes has the amount of weapons in play for him to be successful. Oh, by the way, for 5 straight AFC Championship games and 2 Super Bowl victories. Like, what more does the guy have to do? I mean, there was a couple years ago, he was hot as fish grease. He was interviewed here. You thought he was on the cusp of getting a job, a head coaching job, and now he just makes a lateral move with a couple more ducats added to it with the assistant head coach position. But what more does the guy have to do to be eligible to receive a head coaching gig? He's done
And
it
then
all.
here's the rub on it. So Sam Howell right now is their QB1.
Yes, he is.
I don't know if that kid can play or not. We just haven't seen enough of him. But here's what I do know. He ain't Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
So if you go there, you're now taking a major roll of the dice in your career. Because if things fall badly and Ron Rivera gets fired, you're getting fired with him because the new owner is going to come in and the new owner is going to say, I'm the new owner. I'm starting from 0, which we'd all respect. That's what you do unless you have success. So I cannot figure out, did Kansas City not want him back? I've never heard a single player say a bad word about him. And he played, so he understands the game from a player standpoint. It's one of the craziest stories ever. And although I'm a New York fan, I find myself attracted to wanting this guy to be successful outside the shadow now of Andy Reid. Because if the Washington offense shows growth and he comes across like, wow, look what that guy did with Sam
And they
Howell.
got some playmakers now.
Yeah.
On the outside, on the perimeter, they got some guys that can catch the football, that can make some big plays. They got a running back that can do some things. They have an offense that, granted, if Sam Howell can be somewhat productive at that quarterback spot, they can make some noise. Now, I hate to say it because they're in the NFC East, obviously, but when you think about it from an Eric Bieniemy perspective, getting those guys in position to succeed, it looks like he can do that, given if Sam Howell ends up being the guy.
Yeah, and by the way, if Bieniemy has one great year, then he's a head coach somewhere else, I think for sure.
We hope.
Yes. What else you got?
Headline number 3, Derek Carr visited your New York Jets in Jersey, specifically in Summit, New Jersey, in a nice little Italian restaurant.
Yeah, let me tell you something. Nothing like chicken parmesan to get a guy to come to be the head coach of, not the head coach, pardon me, but to be the starting quarterback. So you got Derek Carr, all smiles. Robert Saleh, handsome bald man with his back to you. The guy with the hat on is Nathaniel Hackett.
You can't prove that's not
Who
you,
is their
Greg.
new offensive coordinator. First off, we don't wear baseball hats in restaurants. Let's stop that noise right
He
now.
always wears them everywhere he goes.
Some respect.
It is right. Thank you. We're adults. We're sitting in a restaurant. Take off your
He's
hat.
not at the restaurant from The Sopranos. He's at a random New Jersey restaurant.
It's still a thing. You take the hat off when you sit down to eat. You want to wear it in? Okay. The hat comes off. Show some respect when you eat. Now, I have a question for you, though.
Okay.
And that is, if you're Derek Carr, and listen, you're a wealthy guy anyway, but you're eating on their dime,
Okay.
what do you order?
Well, you go all out. What do you mean? We're getting the prosciutto, we're getting the steak, we're getting the chicken parm, we're ordering extra
It's so
pasta.
funny you say that. I think that's an
Extra
athlete thing.
pasta?
I'll tell you a quick, if I may just share a quick story.
Yes.
We had a dinner.
Okay.
Myself, some Fox executives, and an unnamed person.
Okay.
And that unnamed person was a potential co-host of this show.
Okay.
And we go to a steakhouse, and I want to be a good guy because Fox is paying for it. So I ordered the burger. Stupid order. The burger stunk. My man, who is, about to be hired for this job. I'm not. You can ask the Fox execs. He got the Wagyu ribeye for $240.
Yeah, he
That
did.
sounds delicious.
Half a bottle of tequila.
Okay.
And when he didn't finish the steak, he took it home.
Yeah, he
Good
did.
for him.
Yeah, he did. Because that Wagyu reheated the next morning tastes great.
Throw it in some eggs. Love that.
And what the guy said was steak and eggs for breakfast.
Yes, right.
So after the meeting, I go, that's our guy. But I'm like thinking, so it's their money. They flew me in. I'm at
large
everything.
format wine. Can I have the wine list? It's this big. I'm like, yeah.
How
let's see
bad
where
do
we're at.
you want Derek Carr?
Yeah,
I want him badly,
Then you better pull out the wager.
Yeah, listen. No burgers for Derek Carr.
You ordered a burger. What a move.
I did, because I'm respectful.
Are you?
I'm respectful
Let me
of the
guess,
show.
you got sweet potato fries, too? What'd you get?
Yes! Oh, a little side salad? Oh, look at you keeping it so classy.
Listen, I'm going to start taking advantage. It's a good point. Darren, listen, if I'm the New York Jets, you had the lunch. Listen, those lunches don't go badly because everyone is in a good mood, right? You haven't played yet together. We want you. We love you. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. I want him. I know Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback. I will never disagree with that.
He might be out there.
Yeah, but here's the deal on it. I don't know what it takes to get Aaron Rodgers. And I don't think there's a lot of suitors for Aaron Rodgers. If you eliminate the entire NFC, Green Bay's not going to trade him to the NFC. I think we can accept that, right?
Likely.
So to me, we've said it a million times, it's the Raiders, it's the Jets, and a dark horse would be Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else makes sense. Derek Carr, though, makes sense for the Saints. Makes sense for Carolina. Makes sense, obviously, for the New York Jets. And he's leaving Vegas. So I think you're kind of looking at both guys. There are 3 teams in play. And for Rodgers, I really think there's 2. I think it's the Raiders, and I think it's the Jets because I'm eliminating the NFC. I can't wait for this knucklehead to come out of this retreat because the fear of me waiting is Derek Carr saying, if I'm not your number one,
I'm out.
I respect that, but peace out.
Yeah.
Because I know Frank Reich's on the phone right now begging me to come to Carolina. Allen in New Orleans, a guy I know well, I played for him, is begging me to come to New Orleans. I'm wanted, and oh, by the way, the NFC South stinks. If I go there, I'm winning a division. I'm in the playoffs, right? So I think that there's a weird game of chicken now between the Jets and Derek Carr, and I say blink first and sign the guy, and let's get it done.
Could you imagine Aaron Rodgers in Vegas back with his guy?
Devontae Adams. Right?
Indoors now.
Right.
No weather elements, just sitting back there throwing that pill around. Man, it'll be fun to watch. I'll tell you that, man.
So,
but
right now, in the moment, because Aaron Rodgers, I don't know how long this retreat's going to be or not, the Jets actually hold the cards.
Yeah.
Because my gut would tell me if the Jets made the right offer to Derek Carr, why wouldn't you want to go there? You know, real above average, top 10 level defense, 3 legitimate young studs at wide receiver, good tight end, not the best, but good tight end and some depth there. And we don't lose draft picks. And to me, that's the rub here. The Jets need help on their offensive line. They can address that right now in the draft. If you're giving up multiple picks to get Aaron Rodgers, which granted you have to, you should. He's a generational talent. But I've only got like a 2-year window with him. I'm going to give up mad picks to get him. With Derek Carr, I'm getting 5 or 6 years with him, and I give up nothing but stroking a check to get him.
No, I agree with that. And look, he's walking into a defense with the Jets that's ready to go.
Yes.
Those guys are ready to rock and roll. It's just they're a quarterback away from being in contention, from being playoff contenders, and for being in the hunt for the Super Bowl at the end of the day. And I think Derek Carr does that for them. But it's just that little Aaron Rodgers twinkle in the back of their mind.
He's whispering sweet nothings
out there. You know, you just don't know.
He might pull out of that cave and see some green.
Yeah, but by the way, I want to be in control. I don't want to wait on Aaron Rodgers. And I'm only getting 2 years, if I'm lucky to get 2 healthy years out of Aaron Rodgers. And I know there's this other notion out there which is, oh, wait a minute. Derek Carr's never won a playoff game. And now he's going to beat Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert. Well, memo to those of you who say that. Number one, he doesn't play against them. I've got a top 5, top 6 defense. They play against them. Number 2, you're not going to have to go through all 3 of them. 2, yeah, for sure.
Maybe, yeah.
But if my defense is as good as I think it is, and now I add a great quarterback like a Derek Carr, I'm locked and loaded and ready to go. Derek Carr is my guy.
Does he actually make them a Super Bowl contender? Because you have
yes.
Done.
Yes.
Then get him.
Yes. And the other thing, and Victor, let me just talk to you, right? Because these soft baseball players don't play in the rain. You know that, right?
Yeah,
Here's a lot of people are saying now that this is a knock on Derek Carr. This is just haters. These are just bad people in the world. Let me tell you, who are now saying Derek Carr in his career, when he plays a game in which it's under specifically 37 degrees, is 0-7.
Yikes.
How do we randomly pick 37 degrees? Right?
What if it's 42? What if it's 42 degrees?
What's his record at 43 degrees?
Probably 10 more wins.
Nobody knows. And the notion that, he can't win a cold weather game, which is what they're getting at. I remember distinctively a game that you might have played in, Vic.
A little bit.
You might have played in a certain game.
Was it Christmas Eve?
It's just like, the
Pretty
notion
cold.
of...
Pretty cold.
Yeah, it's like when we talk about, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field, they never lose a game at home when it's under 32. I don't know the last time they won a game when it was under 32 degrees at Lambeau Field, right? So you see the Jets, the worst quarterback situation in all the league.
Yep.
And they took my man out for some chicken parm and some linguine with clams.
Love it.
And hopefully that's enough to get it done, right?
Hopefully. We'll see what happens. I think Derek Carr's a shoe-in for those guys. I think he's the obvious choice.
Well, not for Sauce Gardner, though.
Little twinkle, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and that's the problem, because my guy Sauce Gardner, who famously wore the cheese head at Lambeau when the Jets beat them.
Yep.
I love you, Sauce, and Sauce has been recruiting dudes.
Yeah,
and I love the fact that he's out there recruiting. But
I had to put my recruiting hat on. It was incredible.
That might ruin that dinner over in Jersey.
He's recruiting the wrong guy.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Real quick, before I jump off this, there's a couple former NFL players in this town, in New York City, who are on completely opposite sides of the spectrum on Derek Carr. One guy has come out and claimed, well, he doesn't curse, that won't work in New York. The other guy came out and said, oh, he's too foul-mouthed, that won't work in New York.
What?
And they couldn't be more diametrically opposed. Derek Carr, from what I understand, is one of the guys, a well-respected guy, and teammates seem to adore him, right?
Love Derek Carr.
He could play in New York, right?
Play with his brother, obviously. They're both cut from that same cloth. He could absolutely play in New York, and he's played enough football. He knows how to handle himself in the NFL to play in New York. I don't know if every guy does that. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers even can handle that, given his tumultuous relationship
Aaron in the media in New York would be interesting.
Oh
right?
my God, it'd be popcorn. I'd be like, what? Especially after a loss, I'm like, what's he got to say this week?
Yeah, could you imagine for a moment if an NFL came down to your team won because they got the ball down to the 18-yard line and the other team lost because they only got the ball down to the 20-yard line? Would that make any sense to you?
Not at all.
0 cents.
Yeah, well, that happened yesterday in one of the most thrilling, amazing Daytona 500s of all time as Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wins the Daytona for the first time. They went into double overtime because there were crashes and stuff, right? And then when the white flag came out indicating we have one lap to go, unfortunately there was another crash, bang right there. So the Daytona rules, if you're not a rubbinous racing guy or gal out there, is when they push that button and they say caution flag, whoever's leading the race at that moment is your Daytona 500 winner.
It's like Ricky Bobby.
Yes, you don't even have to cross the finish line. You just have to be in the lead when that flag comes out, and that's how Stenhouse Jr. won it. So it was also the longest Daytona of all time, and let's be honest, we love the crashes.
It's pitch black dark out there in this.
No, they'd have lights out.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And the cars also have headlights, too. It's pretty sweet.
It ain't like Aaron Rodgers and his buddies driving in the dark. They actually have lights, so they can see just fine. Don't worry about that. Speaking of New York quarterbacks, or God please New York quarterbacks, the current New York quarterback has made a nifty little move before re-signing with the Giants. What's Daniel Jones up to? Right after this on FS1.
Wendy only met Marco 8 days ago while searching for freelance web developers on Fiverr. But the incredible website he delivered made him an invaluable member of the team. Expand your team with a Fiverr freelancer.
The bedroom suite. With deliberate details and modern functionality. For the indoor enthusiast. Check in at Fuma.co.
Honey, are you throwing the throw pillows?
Relaxing to watch TV can be hard.
Remember how they stack?
Actually, watching TV?
HBO app.
It's easy with Dish. Live TV and streaming apps together with Dish.
As a young man, my hair started to thin. I couldn't sleep, I was stressed about it, and there were few options out there. Nutrafol is a drug-free, natural supplement that gave me my hair, my health, and my confidence back.
Get started at Nutrafol.com/man. If you're watching this Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance commercial, there's a good chance that you're alive. And if you're not, well, this may not be of interest to you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Life insurance? I'm going to live forever. Death is what happens to other people. Well, for the sake of argument, let's assume you're wrong and that someday you won't be watching TV anymore. I know it's not easy to talk about, so I'll do the talking. If you're 50 plus and alive, you can apply for Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance with guaranteed acceptance, regardless of your health. And since this life insurance is guaranteed, you don't have to get a medical exam. In fact, you don't even have to fill out a health questionnaire. For a free quote, just call 800-440-7811. Then, when you stop, if you stop watching TV, your family can use the insurance money to help cover your final expenses or anything else. For a free quote, call today, 800-440-7811. Your kids already inherited your ears, allergies, and questionable singing voice. Don't make them inherit your final expense tab, too.
This is a Floyd bed frame. This is also a Floyd bed frame. And here it is again. Timeless design, made from enduring materials that are simple to assemble, move, and it's
sturdy!
Adaptable to your needs. The Floyd bed frame is perfectly designed for how you live today and in the future. See our entire family of furniture at floydhome.com.
Series on Fox roars into California. Let's go! It's the grand finale of the 400-mile Auto Club Speedway, where reigning winner Kyle Larson looks to take the last flag.
Larson for the checkered flag.
But Kyle Busch has won 3 and is hungry for 4.
All I do is win.
NASCAR Cup Series, Fontana. Coverage begins Sunday at 2:30 Eastern on Fox.
Why did we choose Safe Flight? For us, driving around is the only way we can get our baby to sleep. So when our windshield cracked, we can't drive this. We needed it fixed right. We went to safelight.com. There's no one else we'd trust. Their experts replaced our windshield and recalibrated our car's advanced safety system. They focus on our safety, so we can focus on this little guy.
Safe Flight Repair, Safe Flight Replace.
Is your credit score getting in the way of the things you want to do? Personal loans through NetCredit offer fast and flexible lending. Borrow up to $10,000 and choose repayment terms that work for you. You may even be able to build your credit history as you repay. NetCredit, a more personal loan.
This is the future of foundational nutrition. AG1 lets you drink your vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and so much more. One scoop, once a day. Learn more at athleticgreens.com.
After the Events of Elimination Chamber, who remains on the road to WrestleMania? Plus, SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair goes face-to-face with her WrestleMania opponent Rhea Ripley. That all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Oh, yeah! The Intercontinental Champion!
Love that title.
Oh, yeah, brother! Victor Cruz is here, brother! You ever do a wrestling event or no?
Never.
Never? Boy, it seems like you do just about anything.
Yeah, no,
I see you all over the place. How are you not?
That's the one thing probably I haven't done.
I'm saying, like, what haven't you done? Listen here, brother. It just never gets old. It never gets old.
Perfect.
Daniel Jones, your guy. Giants quarterback. They, of course, famously a year ago did not pick up the 5th-year option. They can franchise him if they want, but that'll guarantee him like $30-some-odd million. They'd rather get him signed. There have been some conversations, and they did not go well, apparently. And now Daniel Jones has fired the powerhouse agency, CAA, and has flipped over to a group that's known as Athletes First. I only bring up their name because they historically have gotten guys signed on 5 different occasions to the largest deal ever. And then, of course, that got jumped, and then that got jumped. So these are big-time negotiators. They represent, I was just looking at their website, like this, you should have been represented by these guys. They have 102 Pro Bowlers, 8 Super Bowl MVPs, and 105 first-round picks. They're pretty good. Yeah, that being said, Danny Jones isn't a top 5 quarterback in the league.
Correct.
Danny Jones can't command $250 million.
Correct.
So this is not necessarily a negative. It just means he wants a guy or a group of guys and gals that have shown the ability to maximize your guaranteed pay.
Yeah.
What do you think about the relationship in New York?
I think it's exactly that. I think he's switching to an agency or to a specific agent that has success in that regard. He wants to maximize how much he can get and maximize this opportunity with the New York Football Giants. I think that they can get him to an affordable, family-friendly, team-friendly deal. I don't think he wants to break the bank necessarily, but I think he wants an average per year or guaranteed money that makes him smile and makes him feel comfortable to come into work every day and that job security. So I don't think he wants to get franchised because, again,
nobody wants to get franchised. Right.
Unless you're a receiver for a year, I wouldn't mind.
I'll take the $18 million.
I'll take that. 20 M's for a year.
Yeah.
But I think at the quarterback position, you want some longevity. You want to know that that team is behind you. You want that front office to believe in you and to believe in you not just verbally but financially believe in you.
I don't think there's any animosity at all. I think the Giants did everything right in not picking up the option because he hadn't played well enough to pick up the option because there's an absurd amount of money, that 5th-year option for a first-round draft pick. You know, the rub now is what's the right number because, and this is where it can get ugly, the reality is that while Daniel Jones had his best year and he stayed healthy the entire year, he threw 15 touchdown passes. Now, he ran for a bunch, and he became a legitimate franchise quarterback. But we're not going to give a guy like that $200 million or $130 guaranteed. You threw 15 touchdown passes. New York is also, for me, the best place for Daniel Jones to be. Clearly, what Brian Dable does and did is special. which is probably why Josh Allen had his best years under him, and why you saw Danny Jones have his best year under him. So what do? For me, 4 or 5 year deal. You want to get into the low 30s? I'm down with that. And you want to guarantee him $80 million? I'm making up numbers, obviously, but he can't command the Deshaun Watson deal. He can't command a lot of those deals, the Josh Allen deal, or any of those deals, because he threw 15 touchdown passes, and that does come into the negotiation.
And it does. And when you look at the New York Giants specifically, there's another guy that proved he was healthy all year long and was the workhorse, and that is also up for a contract, and that's Saquon Barkley.
Right.
So how do we A, re-sign Daniel Jones to a long-term contract? How do we also figure out what we're going to do with Saquon Barkley? And oh, by the way, Daniel Jones was throwing to us three this last year. So how do we find some talent on the outside for him to throw the ball to that he can say, okay, I'm in duress. I need a guy I can throw the ball up to, and I trust that he's going to make a play.
They did just give Hodgins a 1-year deal.
Nice.
He emerged as his go-to guy, but he's not a game-breaker wide receiver.
And he was a guy that was in Buffalo, so Daboll knew him and had that rapport with him, and that's why.
He's more of your slot receiver. Give me 7 yards on 3rd and 5 kind of thing.
Trusty hands.
Sure-handed guy.
Take it.
Yeah, but it's funny. Like Dak Prescott, for example, makes $40 million a year. I don't think Dak Prescott has earned that money just yet. But I can't give Danny Jones $40 million a year. That'd be crazy.
Not yet.
Now, on the Saquon Barkley side, I think he's played his last game as a Giant. They made him an offer during the bye week.
It was 12.5.
Yeah, but that's what the franchise number is too. So they basically said, we're going to give you the average of the top 5 guys, and we'll guarantee a couple years in there. And he was like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
he's done in New York.
I think so. I think he's in the 13-14 range, and I think he's going to get that from another team, from a lesser team. But New York has to figure out how to keep Saquon. He's the face of that team. He's the guy he's the workhorse.
But he's a running back.
He is a running back, and he's a dual threat. He does a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's in between the tackles heavily, but he can catch balls out of the backfield. You can put him out. You can split him out wide. You can do many things with him. And I just think he provides that game break that you need, especially if you go out and get a guy like DeAndre Hopkins, which I've been hearing some rumblings about making a trade to go get that guy. So if you do that, you got to keep Saquon in there to make things.
That's so funny you bring up D-Hop, because on Wednesday's show, I'm going to be telling people how he's going to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, he was all about that last week.
But listen, the Giants would be smart to go after him, as the Dallas Cowboys would.
Got to.
And if you're D-Hop, you go to Dallas, you don't come to New York.
No, come to New York, baby.
Well, then why don't you get on the phone and start working your magic?
What time does this show on?
You're on the Giants payroll still. Let's get going.
Get him, get OBJ, and you got yourself a whole
crew. Got a Swatch watch now? They still make those,
huh? We're not promoting this thing.
Like a 9-year-old.
Does Swatch still exist?
No, I saw the band. I was like, Swatch watch is back.
That's my daughter, man.
It's all good. It's all good. If I can, though, if you take Danny Jones and then you look at some of the other young quarterbacks that are going to be asking for, and some of them rightfully so, deserve extensions. I want to go through this real quick, because Daniel Jones, I think, and I think you agree, he will be the Giants quarterback. They just got to figure the numbers out. Yep. There's Joe Burrow. Justin Herbert right there, and of course Tua down in Miami. Those 3 guys are first-round draft picks. So the difference between those 3 guys and then Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia is that Jalen Hurts was a second-round draft pick. Why do I bring that up? Because you can, right now, going into year 4, you can pick up a 5th-year option. And those guys are kind of stuck where they don't get the big contract extension, and you control their rights for 2 more years. Year 4 and then year 5. Jalen Hurts, because he's a second-round pick, it's a 4-year deal and peace out. So he's actually going into now his lame duck year, meaning there's a very good chance Jalen Hurts gets signed before the other 3 guys, just based on where they are contractually.
Yeah, this is interesting, because who wants to be the one to set the market?
Right.
Who wants to be the one to set that number? Because if Jalen Hurts gets paid, Joe Burrow's like, well, I need $1 more than that.
Right. I've been to 2 AFC championship
exactly.
games.
And then you flip it the other way around, and Burrow gets paid first. Jalen's like, well, I'm fresh off the Super Bowl run. I need to get paid $1 more than that.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see who deserves it. I think Joe Burrow should be the highest paid guy, in my opinion. I think he does the most for his team. I think he's the most natural position quarterback and just does things so naturally with his arm and does so with his legs when he needs to. But he's the most gifted passer that we've seen in a very long time.
Well, he's also had, in a very short amount of time, because let's be fair, he's only played 2.5 years, and he had the knee injury in year 1. But in a very short amount of time, he's had the most success. Right? He's gone to a Super Bowl. He's been, to 2 AFC Championship games. Won one on the road, of course, in Arrowhead. But you're right. It now comes down to ego. And do I care if I get $1 more or less than that guy, right?
Exactly.
So, for example, Josh Allen has $150 million guaranteed. Well, if I'm Joe Burrow, I might say, I need more than that guy, right? And on and on and on. But regardless, now it's about how much do you get guaranteed, and do any of these guys, because they're so young and their careers are really still in their infancy, do any of them feel the pressure of, I'm going to take less, the old Tom Brady thing, so that, for example, in Cincinnati, T. Higgins gets re-signed. I'm going to take less so that we can get that free agent. I'm going to take less. And in your ear is, your family, obviously, your agent saying you're not taking a nickel less. And that's the rub here.
Yeah, that's definitely the rub. But it's also like, at least how I used to think about it, especially playing in New York City, was like, okay, I'm going to take this deal. It may be less than what I would initially ask of for myself, but I'm going to make that up in marketing. I'm going to make that up off the field. I'm going to make that up in other areas and put myself out there in other areas so that I can compensate for that. So I think, yes, you may take the Tom Brady rule so that you can keep the core of your football team and stay competitive for year in and year out, and then make up some of that money on the back end. So if these guys are smart and want to be good for the long term, you pull that move. You pull that. Look, I'll take a little less if you promise me that this is going to sign Jamar Chase long term. It's going to sign.
Right. There's got to be an upside beyond.
Got to be an upside. Keep my guys here and let me know how much you need from me, and keep my guarantee high, my APY maybe a little less, so we can keep the core of our guys and stay competitive for a long time.
I did that for Cody. I get no credit for it.
And
but,
look how competitive you are.
And look, see that?
Thank you, Craig.
I took less than everybody just so that you could be here every single morning.
You did not do that.
I didn't.
You did not do
I
that.
thought about it,
but that was really nice of you.
Yeah, and that's why I drive to work every day.
That is true.
The real question to me actually is more about a guy that has never had any playoff success and whether or not he gets tired of being a Charger. Justin Herbert's an interesting guy. He played hurt all year last year. They have, of course, the famous, come from ahead loss in the playoffs against Jacksonville this past year. You bring in a new young stud, offensive coordinator. But if I'm Justin Herbert, I might not want to sign so quickly, right? Of course, injuries are going to make you want to sign, but I would consider maybe not signing, because if I can't get it done now, next year, I might want to look somewhere else. Maybe the Chargers aren't where I need to be.
We'll see. The grass isn't always greener in that regard. I mean, he's playing in L.A. We love the sunshine. He's got a beautiful stadium to play in. He's got some pass catchers on the outside to throw the ball to, some really good ones. So we'll see. Obviously, playing hurt isn't always great. Obviously, they didn't have the outcome they wanted a year ago. He didn't play his best ball. But I do think his best opportunity is still with the Chargers, in my opinion.
Well, listen, you got an offensive coordinator that likes to throw the ball down the field, so we'll see how it plays out. But that's the rub right now for all these young quarterbacks, and I agree. Jalen Hurts is probably going to be the first guy to set the new market for stud quarterbacks. How about an old guy to set the market for stud defensive coordinators? Yeah, my main man Rex Ryan. Looks like he's this close to being back on an NFL sideline, and I'm grateful for it because I love Rex Ryan, and I know people close to Rex. He has been desperate to get back on an NFL sideline, and as good as he's become on TV, he's better on the sideline of an NFL game. It looks like the Denver Broncos, who have a badass defense already, might be adding the legendary stud to their coaching staff, which to me overnight means the AFC West gets reconfigured.
Yeah, I love it.
Because you have, obviously, you bring in a stud head coach. Now you bring in a stud defensive coordinator. It still all comes down to Russell Wilson. But having that guy be in charge of that defense, the Denver Broncos are now a threat. An absolute threat.
A big-time threat. And I love Rex Ryan. And you can tell that when you see him on television, when you see him talk about the game, I think being on television, continuing to talk about it, kept him up to date on it. Because, sometimes you can just watch it at home and you kind of don't know what the guys are into. You're not attached to the game as much. but he stays attached, and he knows the players, and he stays in their face, and he loves them, and they love him. So I think his passion and energy, and obviously his defensive wisdom, is going to have that defense flying around, getting after that quarterback. And we all know he likes to blitz heavily.
Yeah,
First,
why
second,
don't you tell
third,
people why you love Rex Ryan?
I mean, because
this is
give
a
me a little
specific
love.
play.
Yeah. And I chewed him up a couple times. I chewed up his defense. Because he likes to blitz,
Yes.
it's advantageous for guys like myself.
99 yards later.
Sorry about it.
I've never gotten over it. Hey, Cromartie, would you tackle somebody, please? And by the way, at what yard line were you on when you knew I'm gone? It's a wrap.
It was about the 30, like right
On
when
your
I
30.
eluded and I saw Eric Smith, and I was like, yeah, there's no shot. Not with my mother in that room watching me play. No way am I letting you catch me right now. No way.
Could you see yourself on the Jumbotron running?
Yes. Once I passed him, I looked up just to see how far back he was, and I was like, oh, we're good. We're good.
We're good. 60 yards and we're good.
No problem.
Yeah, for a long time, I didn't refer to Victor as Victor. I referred to Victor as blanking Victor Cruz. Yes. Yeah. You can figure out what came before the ING there.
Got it.
Yeah. I didn't talk to him for a year and a half because of that play. Hey, that's a true story, I'll tell you. And then he gave me the wrong phone numbers, the whole thing.
Yeah,
that being said, every now and then, bad things happen to bad people, and I celebrate that. It makes me, I think, Schadenfreude, yeah?
Yes.
Remember Greg Hardy?
Yeah.
Greg Hardy, who was a really great football player, but a total lunatic and a really bad guy. He did bad things to people, well documented, no need to go over it again. Greg Hardy tried his hand at MMA, didn't work out so good. So then he decided to join the Bare Knuckle Boxing League.
Oh, that's a good
All right?
Wouldn't it get worse? Wouldn't you think it would get worse?
That doesn't sound like a good idea.
I don't know, because he's a big dude. I can understand not succeeding at MMA because there's more of a technical skill to that. Or if you're a jiu-jitsu guy or a wrestling guy, he's just a big dude who can probably throw hands, right? So he gets in the ring for bare knuckle boxing against a guy that looks like a Jersey City bouncer. All right? And one left hand, pop goes the weasel. Yeah. And then he flexes on him.
That looks like the punch you see in front of a club.
Yeah.
Too, like a club fight. Like a club
Specifically
fight.
in Jersey City, yeah.
Yeah, look at that. One more time. One more time. Left hand, pop.
Is there a weight class for this?
I don't want you messing with no southpaws, Rock. Told you.
Yeah, he has a tough time getting up.
The flex is just too much.
Right? Standing on top like, what's up? What's up? What's up? Yeah, the guy got paid $50 for that knockout. But he's got a story to tell his kids and his grandkids and everybody else. We got a lot more show coming up. Of course, NBA All-Star Weekend is now a wrap. Kevin Durant defended his decision to ask for a trade for the 15th time in his career right after this on FS1.
So a 2-2 tie. There's a high fly ball deep to right. Crazy, just crazy.
Bayer Aspirin, official sponsor of fans' hearts.
I can't believe we were actually put on pause.
Am I anxious about being back? Does it seem like I am?
I'm glad to be back because this is what I was made for. I mean, as a walking, talking candy, my options are pretty limited.
Next on Behind the Series.
That run with the champ was magical. I mean, the tender chicken, the peppercorn ranch. I love my rings. But I'll cherish that lunch forever.
The Subway Series, the greatest menu of all time.
Hit it.
Stay 2 nights and get 8,000 bonus points. Book now at bestwestern.com.
As a young man, my hair started to thin. I couldn't sleep, I was stressed about it, and there were a few options out there. Nutrafol is a drug-free, natural supplement that gave me my hair, my health, and my confidence back.
Get started at Nutrafol.com/man.
Question: how's your money management game? I tried spreadsheets, post-it notes, and mental math, but could never keep up with everything. That's why I started Rocket Money, an app to lower bills, find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, and bring your entire financial picture into focus. Download Rocket Money today.
When the details take precedence, the rest falls perfectly into place. We strip away everything but the essential, and what we're left with are thoughtful bedrooms for modern living. Thuma.
Create social media ads with Fiverr. You'll need your brand manager, copywriter, and Xena, a Fiverr freelance video editor that works with Fortune 500 companies who will join your team from home. Her home, not yours. Expand your team with a Fiverr freelancer.
Life has never felt so expensive. So why is Omar snoozing like a baby? Because he made the smart choice to shop with IKEA. Jamie hasn't stopped dancing since she left the store. With IKEA, you're caring for your wallet and each other and your guests and the planet. Now you can afford even more with new benefits for IKEA family members, including 5% off all eligible purchases in-store. Every visit, every day. IKEA.
This isn't Charmin. No wonder I don't feel as clean.
Here's Charmin Ultra Strong.
Ah, my bottom's been saved.
With its diamond weave texture, Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better with fewer sheets and less effort. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Between you and me, I always knew that I needed life insurance, but I just kept putting it off. Then I discovered the Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Plan, and it took all the worry out. Now I know I won't be a burden to my family.
If you're 50 or older, you are guaranteed coverage, regardless of your health. No medical exam needed. For a free quote, call now. 800-496-1542.
Gerber Life's Guaranteed Life policy can be used for funeral expenses, medical bills, and more. Plus, my acceptance was guaranteed, regardless of my health history, and the application couldn't have been easier to understand.
Get up to $25,000 of whole life insurance. That can help cover funeral costs, medical bills, unpaid debt, all the expenses you wouldn't want to leave behind.
I look around this table, and I know that having a Gerber Life Guaranteed Life policy is a relief for me, because it's really for them.
For a free quote, pick up your phone and call today. 800-496-1542.
Saturday, it's Fox Primetime Hoops. Player of the Year candidates Zach Edey and third-ranked Purdue are out for payback. Wow! As they look to avenge their early season loss against Trace Jackson Davis and the Hoosiers. Indiana, Purdue, Saturday at 7:30 Eastern.
The biggest games are on Fox Primetime Hoops.
There's my main man with the receding hairline, Mr. Kevin Durant. When healthy, the best player in all of the association. Kevin Durant spoke quite eloquently about why it's a good thing for the league that great players like himself request trades. Listen to this.
I don't think it's bad for the league. It's bringing more eyes to the league. More people are more excited. The tweets that I got and the news hits that we got from me being traded, Kyrie being traded, just bring more attention to the league. And that's really what makes you money is when you get more attention. So I think it's great for the league, to be honest. Teams been trading players and making acquisitions for a long time. Now when a player can, kind of dictate where he wants to go and leaving free agency or demand a trade, it's just part of the game.
Yeah, so there's a couple sides to this. From a player standpoint, he's absolutely right. From an interest in the league standpoint, he's absolutely right. If you're a fan of a team that's about to acquire a great talent like a Kyrie Irving, like a Kevin Durant, and fill in the blank, obviously, he's right. There's mad excitement in those cities when you're about to acquire a great talent. Here's the disconnect, though, between what Durant's saying and the paying fan. When Kevin Durant is on a team, I'm more likely to buy a ticket to watch that team play. When Kevin Durant is on the road, I'm more likely to buy a ticket to a game that he's going to be coming into my arena for. And the disconnect here is that we get screwed. The fans. Now, you could say the fans in Phoenix aren't getting screwed. This is a big for them. They have a chance to win a title. They've already bought their tickets. Those tickets are worth more now. I can't argue that. That's right. But everybody that's left in your wake is literally left there empty-handed going, what? No, I bought tickets because you sold me that you were going to be a net for life. you were going to be a this for life, that you loved my town, you loved my team, you were going to bring multiple championships here. What about me?
Yeah, and that's what the Brooklyn Nets are going through
Exactly.
right now. Is,
Yeah.
like, what are we going to do? Those people that brought season tickets for the next 5-10 years thinking that Kevin Durant was going to retire a Net, that's not happening
Well,
anymore.
for those people, I go,
Silly you.
now, if it was the Knicks, I'd be very upset.
Exactly. Of course.
But I can't be. I'm not gonna lie to you. The fact that it's happened to the Nets, I'm good.
Of course you are.
Because screw those losers. Yeah, front running weasels that they are. But outside of them,
100%. But you gotta think that the CBA, the next time that thing is up, this ownership is gonna have a real issue and gonna try to do something about these players that they signed to these long-term deals. Just being like, we stink this year. I want to go somewhere else. I want to play with a contender. I want to change teams. I don't like ownership. It just can't be like that anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I mean, the only upside to it is that for a long time in the NBA, once you were on the outside looking in, it was a decade before you even had the thought of being able to get back inside. The top 10 now, even since they've extended, and done the play-in. But he's right from a standpoint that it does create interest. And the fact that the trade deadline is, the week before the Super Bowl is also very, very smart. But there's also a problem on the other side. See, I think super teams equate to super villains.
Okay.
And I think all sports needs that. You need a team that everybody's gunning for.
Like the Miami Heat back in the day.
Heat back in the day, Golden State more recently, Duke in college, Notre Dame in college football.
Lakers bunch of times.
Part of hating a specific team is ultimately good for sports also. But now, when you fast forward to that, if you're going to have 4 teams in each conference, and everybody else has no shot to win, long term, that's not good for the league. If you had one great team in each conference and you could grow up hating that team, that's ultimately good for the sport. Right. Or if those two powerhouses are likely to meet and you have that great rivalry of, Lakers Celtics, right? That's good for the sport. When there's only enough room for 4 or 5, so that's Golden State, Denver, Dallas, Phoenix, nobody else has a shot. And in the East, no one else has a shot. That long-term becomes bad for the sport.
Yeah, that has an effect on the sport long-term, and that has an effect on organizations. Like, how do we go out and be competitive and get guys that are going to be with us long-term? Again, we're going to have opportunities within the draft, obviously, but these guys are young. They still need time to grow. How are we going to go in free agency and build our team when you have these super teams out there, 3, 4, 5 really, really top 10, top 15 stars in the league going to one team?
The other thing is, I think when a great player demands a trade and gets traded, I think the NBA should institute a jersey swap program. Because God knows how many Brooklyn Net KD jerseys do they do that? Yeah?
I think they do that within a certain time period. If your guy gets traded or something within a certain time period,
swap.
They can swap the jersey.
Yeah, I'd like that because I got a lot of Linsanity jerseys in my closet.
I think the time frame on that was.
What are you talking about? That's the best jersey you could possibly buy if you're a Knicks fan.
Well, listen, I don't wear it on the streets of New York, though.
You should.
I'm not looking to get punched. That being said, KD's one guy. Obviously, you follow his career path: Oklahoma City, Golden State, Brooklyn, and now Phoenix. And now he's got to prove that he can win with another super team with no depth, which very well he might once he gets back on the court. And that takes me to Kyrie. All right, Kyrie, kind of similar path. Has his title with LeBron in Cleveland, goes to Boston, somehow, some way can't make it work with one of the great young nucleuses in basketball history with Tatum and Brown and now Marcus Smart, et cetera, goes to Brooklyn, total failure, and now he's in Dallas with one of the great players in the league. So here's the question. Kyrie, can it work with you and Luka, yes or no?
It's going to be a figuring out process, and I wouldn't call it trouble. I just, we've dealt with some ups and downs throughout live games, and that's our only way we can really grow. I wish we could have training camp together where you guys don't see some of our mistakes, but we're living it out in front of you guys. So for me, I just have to prepare to be an incredible teammate, of course, but also be selfless enough to change my approach game to game.
Yeah, look, they're still, the third or fourth best home team in the West. They have 22 games to go. Here's the rub, though. They've lost 3 straight. So they go into the All-Star break, not playing their best basketball. And these two guys who are rock stars, absolutely in their own right, and combined should be something special. The problem is it hasn't happened yet. And when you make a trade like that, and you acquire a great talent like Kyrie Irving, expectations, rightfully so, jump up. And we don't have the luxury of time. You don't have the first half of the season to figure it out and then go dominate the last 40. You got 22 games to go, and you've now lost 3 straight. You haven't won a game with both guys on the court at the same time, and you're playing almost every single night now against teams that are fighting for 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So right now the Dallas Mavericks are sitting there in the 6th spot, but they're only a half game ahead of New Orleans.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to figure it out, as Kyrie said, in real time, meaning there are going to be moments like we saw last week where neither guy wants to take the shot.
Yeah.
And one of you has to take the shot.
That's literally what they're, and it's funny because there were memes and things like that going around when the trade first happened about who's going to take the last shot, and shows people passing back and forth, right?
It's like right out semi-pro.
You know what I mean? And literally this is what's happening.
Yeah, no, you take it. I don't want to take it.
No,
you take it. I don't want to take it.
No, we didn't agree. So it's just interesting that selflessness that Kyrie talked about. We got to figure out who's going to be the guy to be that selfless person.
Yep.
And I think it's Luka. I think Luka has to understand he has to be the facilitator, at least to start the game off and kind of take the game as it comes. Do that LeBron thing where you start the game off, passing it to the guys, getting everybody involved, getting yours when you can get it, and then seeing how the game shapes off. They start doubling you, you start kicking it out. They start doubling Kyrie, he'll find you again, and now you become the guy. So it's on Jason Kidd to put them in those opportunistic positions offensively, but it's on them individually as athletes and as teammates to be like, all right, today's not my day, and we're going to figure out how to pass.
And by the way, if you could show that again, and listen, that was only, I think, their first game actually on the court
Literally
together.
The first game, yeah.
The biggest problem with this, kind of hot potato routine is that the other 3 guys don't move. And the ball never goes inside the paint off the dribble or the pass. It's 2 guys standing, 25 feet from the basket.
They needed a 3 to tie here. It's good. That's why they were kind of on the perimeter trying to figure it out.
And it didn't work out, and the results is another loss. So they've lost 3 straight games. For some reason, I think they'll figure it out because they're just great players.
Yeah.
And great players typically figure things out, more often than not. I mean, that's how I see it. But it's going to be fun watching. The East is kind of locked.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be jockeying for position.
Yep.
I don't think anybody not in the top 10 is going to get into the top 10. So now it's a matter of, can the Knicks get to 5? All that stuff. Mm-hmm. But the West is wide open, in my opinion. From 1 down to 6, it is wide open. I say that respecting the fact that Denver's going to hold on to the 1 seed.
Yeah.
They are not the best team in the West by a long shot. We got lots more to do coming up from All-Star Weekend. Do you know who? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say Mac McClung, but I keep wanting to say Hung.
I know you did. Because of the rim. Because of the rim.
We got to take a break. We got to take a break, but it's coming up. Hang on.
To all the Chevy Silverado owners out there, the adventurers and the doers, to everyone who works hard and plays hard. Whether it's your first Silverado or your 10th. Thank you for making Chevy Silverado the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup.
A bunch of dead guys made up work way back when.
It's our turn now, we'll make it up again. We'll build freelance teams with more agility.
The old way of working is deader than me.
We'll scale up and we'll scale down.
Before you're 6 feet underground.
This is how we work now.
Oh, when my Marco's craving hits, it really hits. And with unlimited medium one-topping pizzas for $6.99 each, I can cover tonight's cravings and tomorrow's. Nice. Marco's. Pizza lovers, get it.
The bedroom suite. With deliberate details and modern functionality. For the indoor enthusiast. Check in at Thuma.co.
We need a small business loan fast.
I got this.
Loan Falcon!
There's a better way to get a fast small business loan. Go to OnDeck.com, and if approved, get your funds as soon as the same day. Your loan is on deck.
Thanks to Avalara, we can calculate sales tax on almost anything, anywhere automatically. Avalara.
What if tax rates change? Filing sales tax returns. Managing exemption certificates. Business license guidance? Does it connect with accounting? Item classification, cross-border sales. What about...
Do you have those budget markups? Thank you.
This is a Floyd bed frame. Timeless design, enduring materials, simple to assemble, the Floyd bed frame is perfectly designed for how you live today and in the future. See our entire family of furniture at floydhome.com.
It started with making a better men's shirt. And now we're on a mission to take over your entire closet with basics that last a lifetime. Inspired by our Southern California roots, Built Basics is here to elevate your style in true premium fashion. Make the switch to premium basics today and level up your look. Shop now at BuiltBasics.com.
Nashville SC, New York City FC, Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on Fox.
Fee-free overdrafts, early payday, no monthly fee. It's banking the way it should be. Chime, the #1 most loved banking app.
This is a Floyd bed frame. Timeless design, enduring materials, simple to assemble, the Floyd bed frame is perfectly designed for how you live today and in the future. See our entire family of furniture at floydhome.com.
We need a small business loan fast.
I got this. Loan Falcon!
There's a better way to get a fast small business loan. Go to OnDeck.com, and if approved, get your funds as soon as the same day. Your loan is on deck.
They're playing basketball. Little all-star game last night. Not a lot of defense.
No.
If you were looking for defense, you
Any.
turned into the wrong network last night. They decided nobody was going to play any defense. And Denver Nugget head coach Mike Malone was not a fan of the all-star game that he coached in last night. Listen to Mike Malone.
You know, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor to be a part of a great weekend, great players, but that is the worst basketball game ever played.
How do you fix it?
I don't know if you can fix it.
Excuse me? Not going with the script. Say what? Yeah, but see, here's the thing. You could all argue that.
Of course.
If you're a basketball purist, you want competitive basketball. You know, the late great Kobe Bryant, about a year before his passing, did an interview talking about the All-Star game. And he didn't like the direction it was going in either. He liked the competition. Like, he made a point of saying, we go harder 5-on-5 on the UCLA campus with nobody watching than we do in the All-Star game, and the fans deserve to see the best players on the planet going head-to-head. The game has changed, though. Guys don't want to participate in All-Star weekend. Guys don't want to risk getting hurt. Guys want to go on vacation. All the things that the 80s and 90s and early 2000 ball players were against, the new generation of stars is down with, and that is, I don't want to get hurt. Let me go out there, throw down a couple dunks, try a couple threes, and let me live to fight another day.
Yeah,
I don't think it's broken, but that's just what it is.
Yeah, I think that, that's part of the reason why they changed the format, right? They wanted to make it more competitive, at least at the end of the game, when it's close, you want to have competitive where guys kind of turn it up a notch, play a little bit more defense so that it becomes competitive so the fans can have something fun to watch at the end of the game.
Listen, we always talk about back in the day, and maybe I've become the old guy in the lawn, although I don't mind this. I know what it is going into it, and that's part of it. Like, if I turn the game on and I'm expecting to see the world's greatest players actually competing, shame on me, because that's not what it is. But there is a generation that's not that old, and that's what you did get. and we just don't get it anymore.
But that's all All-Star games. It's not just the NBA. I mean, we see what the Pro Bowl is now. The Major League Baseball All-Star game, it's competitive, but it's not that ultra-competitive. It's just, that's what All-Star games are now.
Baseball's probably the only one that has stayed truest to the sport we see on a regular basis, right?
Because it's hard to kind of not be competitive in baseball. Like, the ball comes at you, you got to field it, throw it to first base. Those things are happening.
Make a play.
Whether it's All-Star game or, the week 12 of the MLB
You have
season.
to play defense in a baseball All-Star game, or else the game will never end. Everything else is not the case.
So here's the interesting thing. A guy that played in last night's game and had a great game, Jaylen Brown, who I think had 35 points last night. I know, who cares? Jaylen Brown, after the game, said, that's not basketball. That was a glorified layup line. Yeah. Now, the only way it gets changed is if guys that are in their prime, who are going to be in the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 All-Star games, collectively decide we want to change it back where it's a legitimate game and we're trying to win.
Let's be honest, Greg. Guys don't even want to play in regular season games.
That is a
How
fact.
are you going to get them to want to play up in an All-Star game? You know what I mean? They're taking rest the first half of the season. Guys are barely playing. LeBron took criticism, breaking the record. Didn't even play the next game. So it's like the next 3 games. So it's like, how do you change it really without guys having the urge or the want to play even in the regular season?
That's why I know we don't have it, but Anthony Edwards, who's just a great quote and a great ball player, was asked, what his least favorite thing about the NBA is. And he goes, the fact that guys don't play every night. He goes, I go out there some nights, I'm 80%, but I'm playing because it's the old Joe DiMaggio line. There might be a kid in the crowd tonight who it's the only game he can afford to go to. I'm his favorite player. I got to go out there and play because that kid might be in the arena for the only time he gets to be in the arena, and he deserves for me to be on the floor.
How do you incentivize players to go out and do this
It's
for an
called the
All-Star game?
guaranteed contracts that they have.
It's called the largest contract.
No, but I mean for the All-Star game, not just the regular season.
You can't incentivize because they're making so much money anyway.
Even in the game, the winner gets, $400,000, and then the loser gets $200,000, I guess.
Like for us, that's life-changing money.
Crazy money.
When you have guaranteed contracts that are giving you $30, $40, $50 million
Nickel
a
in a
year,
bucket.
like, come on, man. Like, you can't make this game from a financial standpoint worth enough for me to care about it. So the NBA just has to decide what it wants to do. Either do this, right? You're not going to change how many people watch the game, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or tell the guys, listen, you got to start playing.
Yeah. It's going to take that younger crop, that younger crew of really, really talented players and say, look, this is on us. We got to take control of this thing. We have to make it competitive because if those 4, 5, 6 guys make it competitive, everybody else will follow through.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm an NBA guy. I love it. It's not what it used to be, that's for sure. It is a glorified layup line. Jaylen Brown is right. But he's one of the guys that can change that.
Yeah.
And he's decided, and the collective, they've all decided not to change it. But you make a good point. If you're going to take 15 games off for load management, how can I ask you to give a rat's ass about an All-Star game?
And kudos to Jaylen Brown. He was out there playing with a mask on. Like, any other guy to be like, man, I'm going to sit this one out if I got to wear a mask.
Like LeBron James. I hurt my pinky. I can't play in the second half. Who's my pinky hurts?
He's got 23 of the most important games
That's
of
right.
his career.
Of his career coming up, Craig.
Of his career.
They're number 13 right now, and you already said they only got a fugazi championship.
Shame on me. I'd hate you to miss the playoffs for 3 years out of 4 in LA. Shame on me. Oh, my pinky hurts. I can't play anymore. My pinky hurts. Hey, you know what? Funny how your pinky got hurt after they honored you.
That is true.
For the 4th time.
That is true.
Yes. By the way, the story for sure from All-Star Weekend came out of left field, unless, of course, you're a big YouTuber and you've seen the high school videos and beyond of Mac McClung doing just ridiculous dunks. That's how he became famous. He went viral. Good enough skills to make it into the G League. But my man right there, I mean, he single-handedly, and Shaq said it and he was right, saved the All-Star dunk competition because none of us gave a rat's rear end about it for a long time now. Since maybe the Zach LaVine between the legs dunk, right?
That goes down on one of the best in history.
Yes, it was in my top 5. Yes.
Him and Aaron Gordon going back-to-back, playoff dunks, like, just going at it. That was crazy.
So part of it's also the fact that he's a 6 foot, maybe 6'1", and just has hops out of the building.
Yep.
And what's great about this, I think, is that the stars in the NBA, I mean, that's a 540-degree.
That's
what?
sick.
That's just stupid. Like, right now, I'll tell you, LeBron James can't do that dunk.
Cannot.
Right? Yeah. I mean, John Morant, maybe. Maybe.
I think LeBron can still maybe do
540?
540?
I think
he ain't doing 540.
He looks like Brian Boitano right there.
Guys, LeBron is still jumping from the dotted line. Like, he's still taking off
but that's
from wherever he wants.
straight. Now you want the guy to be like a helicopter. Oh, wait, I'm not done yet. I'm not done. Another half a
turn.
Wait,
give me the helicopter sound
and flush it. And it's not an anti-LeBron thing. Kid just did a 540 in front of 10 million people and the greatest players on the planet. And here's when you know if a dunk is legit.
Yeah.
When all the guys sitting courtside have their phones out and they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I just saw that.
You mentioned your top 5 last week. Does this crack somewhere in your top 5?
Ooh, yes.
Wow.
It has to.
Okay.
That dunk last night is the best dunk we've seen in an NBA dunk competition probably since the Zach LaVine between the legs dunk.
I think so. I think you like it more because of the tagline that kind of came from it, though.
There's a few taglines that came from it. Some I can't say on the air. Yeah. Are you talking about the hung like McClung?
There it is. We got another one. Because he hangs on the rim.
Yeah, meanwhile, the most predictable aspect of All-Star Weekend, and I said it right here on the show on Friday, was that Julius Randle should not be in the three-point shooting contest.
You did.
Let's just enjoy it together. A brick. That was an air ball.
That was an air ball.
Brick. Someone could say house whenever they want. Brick. And another brick.
The best was his son. Can we show his son?
Yeah, we're going to. So, now, mind you, if you're an NBA historian, that's Bernard King, Hall of Fame. Bernard King's number 30 jersey.
No.
That's what it's like when daddy sucks. And I feel so
but
bad
to
for
his credit, he's more of an in-game, streaky three-point shooter. He's not just
a
give me 50 balls and let me shoot free.
He has attempted the 7th most threes in the league this year.
Now, the attempts I can't speak on.
Despite having Jalen Brunson and now Josh Hart, who are more than capable of making threes. But if you could just show again, his son's so cute, Carton.
Yeah.
He's been a fixture at Madison Square Garden
100%.
since Julius came here. And if you can put him up there again, like, that's real right there.
That's real.
Because that kid knows when he goes to school tomorrow that his buddy's going to give it to him.
Oh, man.
That's right.
It's going to be a tough day.
That's good. It's a good thing he's got a 3-day weekend for President's Day weekend. Because the hope is that the kids are forgotten by Tuesday.
There's no sports happening today. He's in trouble.
Memo to Carton. They haven't forgotten. Am I doing LeBron right now? LeBron James, yes. Well, what about LeBron James, other than he hurt his pinky? But he did say, and I found this very interesting, that for a guy who's accomplished everything there is to accomplish, right? He's now the all-time scoring champion in the history of the NBA.
Yep.
That these next 23 games, well, let LeBron say it for himself. Are they the most important in your career?
It's 23 of the most important games of my career. For a regular season. And
what
type of mindset that I have, and I hope the guys will have coming back off the break. Most important for me right now is to maintain my health and be available to my teammates, after this break, because we have to make a strong push if we want to do anything special.
Well, I mean, not just special. First off, you got to get in.
Yep.
You can't do anything special sitting in 13th or 12th or 11th. You at least got to get to 10, and right now you're not there. I worked out the numbers earlier in the show. I think the magic number is going to be 40. You're going to have 40 wins to get in, and there'll be a team or two that is 40 and 42, so under 500 in the West that's going to get in. From a standpoint of schedule on paper, which never means a lot to me because it's a silly thing. I think they have the 6th or 7th easiest schedule, at least on paper. They've got more of their games at home than they do on the road, but they got a lot of work to do. And when he talked there about, my health's the most important thing, no argument for me, but it's also AD's health. If Anthony Davis doesn't play these final 23, they're not getting in. Yep. And that's no knock on LeBron, who's obviously one of the greatest players of all time, but you can't get in on LeBron alone. Because if I told you, it's LeBron and D'Angelo Russell, it ain't good enough, right? Even though they've got younger, they've got some more depth, they are now a legitimate outside threat. They can make some threes now, but Anthony Davis has to keep his ass on the court or it's a wrap. They're not making it.
Big time. The AD has to stay healthy. A lot of this is predicated on him, and a lot of this is predicated on can this team, with pressure now, right? This is pressure each and every game, and now they got this kind of younger nucleus. Can those guys live up to the pressure and be able to win these games and be able to put themselves in contention and be able to match the mindset that LeBron is on? I think that's the biggest thing, saying these are the 23 most important. That's just the mindset that he's putting himself in so that he can be out there, be available, like he said, and be able to rally his team and bring them to victory.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're 27-32, so they're 5 games under 500. But in the loss column, they're only 3 out behind New Orleans, Golden State, and Oklahoma City. So it's doable. The math is doable.
They're in that sweet spot.
But if you accept me at my word and just agree with me that 40 is the magic number, you're not getting in on 39 wins. If you get to 40 wins, that means that the Lakers have to win at least 13 of their final 23. 13-10 is not asking a lot for a team that's better than they were, right?
Not bad.
Much better.
Reality is, if you can somehow go, let's even be as realistic as possible, if they can bust out a 16-7 or a 15-8 run in the last 23, they're going to be in the play-in. They are not getting a 6. So they're going to be in a situation where, all right, go win one game. Go win one game and now advance to the real playoffs. And then we can worry about, are you good enough to beat the Memphis Grizzlies or the Denver Nuggets, because that's who you're going to be playing in the first round.
The biggest thing is the long term, right? Let's say they do all of that. They get in there, they play the one game, now you're in the playoffs. I mean, LeBron is what, almost 40 years old? Are they going to be able to still be competitive enough without being exhausted by the time they get into the playoffs? By the time they get into being the AC playing the 1 seed, are you still going to have any juice left?
Because right now they're looking at, if they make it, if they win the play-in game, they are looking at the Nuggets or the Grizzlies as it stands today. I think Phoenix gets to 3. They can't get to 2. So then you have to take your little abacus out and go, all right, well, we have the easiest schedule. Can we beat Denver or Memphis in the 7-game series? And we can figure that out a month from now, because we got 5-6 weeks of what should be amazing basketball. Coming up, we got some more football news. If you didn't see it over the weekend, Derek Carr met with the New York Jets. Does that mean he's going to be a Jet today? Well, it's President's Day, so probably not. But what about tomorrow? We'll answer that question right after this.
I'm home. Honey? Are you watching The Bear without me?
Yes, Chef.
Hulu. I can't believe we were actually put on pause.
Am I anxious about being back? Does it seem like I am?
I'm glad to be back because this is what I was made for. I mean, as a walking, talking candy, my options are pretty limited.
This is a Floyd bed frame. Timeless design, enduring materials, simple to assemble, the Floyd bed frame is perfectly designed for how you live today and in the future. See our entire family of furniture at floydhome.com.
When the details take precedence, the rest falls perfectly into place. We strip away everything but the essential, and what we're left with are thoughtful bedrooms for modern living. Thuma.
Create an amazing website with Fiverr. You'll need your web developer, UX writer, and Amy, a Fiverr freelance graphic designer with dozens of 5-star reviews who will join your team from her favorite coffee shop. Don't forget to tip. Expand your team with a Fiverr freelancer.
Why pay over $100 a month for cable when it's half the cost for Fubo TV? Get all the channels you want with all the entertainment you love for the price that cable can't beat. Try free at FuboTV.com.
I like to move it. You like to move it.
We're reinventing our network.
Move it. I like to move it. I like to move it. I like to move it. You like to move it. I like to move it. You like to move it.
Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service.
As a young man, my hair started to thin. I couldn't sleep, I was stressed about it, and there were few options out there. Nutrafol is a drug-free, natural supplement that gave me my hair, my health, and my confidence back.
Get started at Nutrafol.com/man.
Let's take a journey.
I want to see what they saw. We fixing to get filthy, stinking rich, boys.
He's refusing to stop.
Has anybody else been fired recently?
Okay, here we go.
Welcome to Fox Nation.
After the events of Elimination Chamber, who remains on the road to WrestleMania? Plus, SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair goes face-to-face with her WrestleMania opponent Rhea Ripley. An all-new Friday Night SmackDown, live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on Fox.
Ever hear the expression, easy as pie? Well, pie isn't always easy. You know what is always easy? Getting a credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream. It's easier than pie. Way easier.
Apply now at trylightstream.com for your discount.
I'm not a cat lady. I'm a cat goddess. Thanks to Pretty Litter, it's ultra light and odor absorbing. Plus, it changes color to monitor my cat's health. Pretty Litter tells you what your cat can't. Go to prettylitter.com.
My dental health was not good. I had periodontal disease, and I just didn't feel well. But then I found Clear Choice.
Replacing Marsha's teeth with dental implants at Clear Choice was going to afford her that permanent solution.
Clear Choice dental implants gave me the ability to take on the world. I feel so much better, and I think that that is the key.
The season premiere was legendary.
Dick Van Dyke! Our greatest reveal ever.
At Fox Wednesday, who will be unmasked next on ABBA Night?
Taking the dancing queen. ABBA Night.
An all-new Masked Singer, Wednesday on Fox.
All right, it's put up or shut up time now for the most handsome guy walking off a bus in NFL history right there, Eric Bieniemy, who's now the offensive coordinator in Washington, working with Ron Rivera. I will go to my grave saying I don't understand, A, why he has not gotten a head coaching opportunity, and B, why you would ever leave Kansas City and Pat Mahomes to go be the offensive coordinator for Sam Howell and a dysfunctional franchise. Even if you want to discuss, hey, you know, I want to get outside the shadow of Andy Reid. I want people to talk about me like I'm the architect of a great offense. You know, you're still talking about career security.
Correct.
And that is, you're making 7 figures regardless to where you go, right? Over here, you're tied to the best quarterback maybe that's ever played. Over there, you're going to work for a dysfunctional mess and you don't have a quarterback. Something's amiss, no?
Well, at some point, you got to step behind that shadow and bet on yourself.
Okay.
I think that's where he's at. I think he's like, man, I've done this. I've reached the pinnacle here year in and year out. We play at the highest level. We play in the biggest games. I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet and say, I'm the one that's putting these plays together. I'm the one that elevated this team from where they are now to where they can be. And he's got a good template to do it. The quarterback may be the only question mark, but they got a full enough team to go from point A to point B if he can take them.
No, they've got talent for sure. You know, Scary Terry, they can run the ball a little bit. And Ron Rivera is a competent head coach. And now the issue is going to be let Bieniemy do his thing. He will now be the architect of the Washington offense. And you, obviously, as a Giant guy, you don't want him to succeed.
Correct.
But there's from a personal standpoint, I've never met Eric Bieniemy. I don't know the man. There's an aspect, just as a person, I want this guy to succeed because I want the NFL to explain at some point why you passed on this guy so many times when he is a part of nothing but success. And the NFL that I watch, if you're even a little part of success, you're getting opportunities. For example, Eagle linebacker coach this past year. None of you know his name. It's all right. Neither did I. He's now the defensive coordinator in Arizona. What'd that guy ever do?
Exactly.
Bieniemy's resume is better than virtually every coordinator that has gotten a head coaching job. So if you told me he wanted to stay in Kansas City, kind of like Spagnuolo has done,
Correct.
who you know well from his days in New York,
Absolutely.
defensive coordinator. I get it. Let me stay a part of success as long as I can. But there's something weird where you would take a lateral move. I don't care if they're writing associate head coach on your business card. It doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
You're the offensive coordinator.
It just doesn't make sense to me. It's just trying to figure out, what does he need to do? What else do I need to do? I've been to 5 AFC Championship games. I've won 2 Super Bowls. What more does my resume need to have to qualify me to get one of these head coaching jobs? Not assistant head coach under Rivera, not an assistant anything. I want to be the guy that leads men onto the battlefield each and every Sunday and ready to go to war with me.
Well, listen, you know full well that Eric Bieniemy believes in himself. And how do I know that as a fact? Because he decided to go to war with Sam Howell, who you know very little about, instead of staying in bed with Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. So that's all you need to know about Eric Bieniemy.
That's it. Yeah.
Plus, the idea that he doesn't interview well, I went back and looked it up. Now, listen, he has a bad past. You can't get away from it. It is what it is. There was a point when he was actually banned from the Colorado campus. Well, guess what? They also offered him the head coaching job a couple years ago.
Yep.
So whatever has happened, he's made amends for, and he's been accepted back at Colorado. And obviously the NFL has no problem with him working there. So there's something else going on. I'd like to think it's not race. I hope it's not race. But there's some fishy when it comes to Eric Bieniemy.
You know, is there a possibility that if he takes this team, now this was a team that was just on the outside looking in, and it was with Taylor Heineke and Carson Wentz. If he can get this team into the playoffs, he's going to be the most attractive head coaching target next year.
Well, you would
humanly
think,
possible.
You would think, but we've seen crazy things
And they
happen.
went on a run on the end of last year to really put themselves in position. So if they can kind of piggyback off that energy with a renewed sense of offense with Bieniemy there, kind of knowing that they're going to have this Kansas City-esque style offense, and if Sam Howell can really facilitate that and get the ball downfield, Patrick Mahomes style,
right?
Then who knows, man?
You think when he interviewed, he got the linguine and clams and the stuffed mushrooms and the burrata?
If he's the guy I know he is, he went large format on the wine.
Because, you know, Derek Carr did that. Derek Carr was spotted in an Italian restaurant in a tony little suburb of New Jersey with Robert Saleh.
They're having a blast.
Yep, and the guy in the hat there is Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator now for the New York Jets, and all smiles. And I did ask Victor earlier, like, do you order all that? He goes, yeah, you order everything they got. Of
course.
Yeah, Woody Johnson's a wealthy guy. He can afford a steak tartare.
Yeah.
Right? That being said, does one lunch get you from free agent to Jet starting quarterback? And I've never been a part of those lunches. Maybe you have, or some of your friends have. What do you talk about at a lunch like that?
Well, I've had the luxury of having that lunch with Ron Rivera when he was in Carolina. When I was leaving the Giants, they were looking for another slot guy, and they brought me into dinner. And it was just kind of explaining the offense, kind of just giving you an overview, what that position did last year, where they see you fitting in, their quarterback perspective. So you have a light football talk. But they also just want to get to know you as a person. What are your likes, dislikes, your family?
So they
life,
like break it
things
down, like tell me about your family, tell me about what it's like growing up. They'll get into that.
They'll
kind
get
of
into
stuff?
some of that, yeah, for sure. But you get into the football, they waste no time with that. But they also just want to know who you are as a person.
And is it more of them asking you questions or you asking them questions?
It's a little of both. They ask you, obviously they're going to ask you, inundate you with questions. But I also left there like, well, what do you guys want out of me? Like, what do you guys want?
What's your
expectation? Do you want me to be a leader of these men and kind of bring them along? Or are you looking for me to really play and be the guy as well? Like, what do you want my role to be within this football?
At any point during tiramisu, did you say, I'm always open?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Look, here's what I like about what the Jets did. And I was wrong about 2 weeks ago when it came out that the New Orleans Saints had agreed to terms with the Raiders if they were going to trade Derek Carr prior to him saying, I'm going to veto any trade because screw you.
Yeah.
I was like, well, how come the Saints made that call, but the Jets didn't? And I have to apologize to the New York Jets. Joe Douglas was playing chess. A lot of dudes are playing checkers, but he recognized that maybe he talked to Derek and he knew. Maybe he just assumed Derek Carr's not going to let them trade him. So why am I talking to the Raiders? I'll just sit back and wait. And as soon as he gets released, which happened, I can then swoop in. I can give him some Jersey Italian food, which, by the way, is right in the middle of Giant Country, that particular restaurant. I have to tell you that. That is actually very true. And I can wine and dine him and find out, if he's my kind of guy.
But I'm letting you know now, man, leave some room on that bank account For Aaron Rodgers, baby, you might have to go back to
but
that
I don't want to give up
same
draft
restaurant.
picks. I don't.
I get that.
And
but
then there's a story about Aaron Rodgers that came out from a guy who has covered the Packers for like the last 30 years and is a reputable, not a guy just looking for his one moment of fame and his cold take.
Exactly.
There's a guy in Green Bay that's covered the Packers for a long time who came out and said, I'm quoting now, the Packers are done with Aaron Rodgers. And here's the quote that got me. Because you can't make this quote up. They are disgusted with him.
That's a unique choice of words.
I would understand that if you want to go back the last couple of years when he kind of held the franchise hostage, right? And I may not play. I don't like the way I'm being treated. I have no say in the draft and all that nonsense. But it would appear publicly, at least, that Aaron Rodgers has become an easier guy to deal with, a softer guy, a more pleasant guy. But according to this one reporter, and it's his words, not mine, the Packers are disgusted with him. I don't get that.
Well, I think they're just in a position where they're just tired of playing this guessing game, tired of going into every offseason feeling like, is he going to stay? Is he not going to stay? How are we going to make these decisions long term or moving forward just for this year, let alone 2, 3, 4 years down the road if we don't get a commitment from this guy?
Yeah, I'm telling you now, if I'm the New York Jets, or if I'm any team, Derek Carr, he's not as good as Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to ever front that he is because he's not. But Derek Carr's a damn good quarterback. And if I have a team that's been looking for a stud quarterback, as obviously the Jets have been for a very long time, and I give up nothing to get him, and I know that having that guy with the rest of the talent I got is a lock to be in the postseason, I'm not waiting on your guy for 1 or 2 years and dealing with this crap. I'm going with my guy for 5 or 6 and rolling the dice.
Is it selfish that I just want to see Aaron Rodgers and the New York media interact? Is that?
No,
I
it'd
just
be
want to
fun.
see that. I just want to grab some Sour Patch Kids and just watch him just talk to me after a loss specifically.
Yeah, well, he's the Monday morning quarterback right there. Hey, before we get out of here for the day, one of the highlights for me at least of last night's NBA All-Star game, as you guys know, the national anthem was my favorite song. Chris Stapleton killed it at the Super Bowl.
Dominated.
Well, last night, my girl Jewel, dear friend, rocked it out. And the outfit, I had to show Victor Cruz the outfit. Because I know you didn't see it live last night.
Yep.
All the NBA logos cut up on the full pantsuit. And she also did a great job on the anthem.
She did.
But I'd like you to wear that next time you come in.
I want to wear that one, too. It's fitted, nice and tight.
You're about the same size as Jewel, too.
I'm ready.
Anyhow, always good seeing you.
Always a pleasure,
Thank you for
man.
coming in.
My
Love you.
pleasure.
That's Victor Cruz. Throughout the week, we got much more on the NBA as we get ready for the second half and the playoff push and the latest in the NFL, including LeBron, OBJ, and Cowboy Talk tomorrow right here on FS1.
He was the first one.
All right, good morning, and welcome to a Monday morning edition of the Carton Show. Great to have you here on this President's Day. Cody Decker, of course, as always, and my main man, Victor Cruz. Good to have Victor here.
What up?
And we get you started right out of the gate with Monday morning headlines.